But
Hey everybody, welcome to Megazord Radio, the most happiness, tippinest, hoppinest, awake podcast in the history of the planet Earth. I am your host, Riely, joined of course by the one, the only,
the gay lord.
I quit, it's over.
You say that every week.
This is the end of the podcast. We had a good run. We didn't even make it as far as fucking Mighty Morphin Power Buddies. That is a reference that zero people get, including me. Really, I googled Power Rangers podcast one day, and I came across this show called Mighty Morphin Power Buddies, and they were doing basically the same thing we were, but they just stopped after Green with Evil.
After what?
After fucking Green with Evil.
No.
They just decided. I guess like one of the co-hosts cared so little that they just wanted to see Tommy, and they were like, "Okay, I'm cool now." And then they stopped doing the podcast.
Okay then.
I know nothing about them. Apparently, they have a podcast network of some sort. So I guess go look up Mighty Morphin Power Buddies, and from there discover their other podcasts. They seem like nice people, but it's just really funny that one day I was looking for Power Rangers podcast, and I came across this like fucking sad ass 2-minute recording where one of the titular Mighty Morphin Power Buddies is like, "Yeah, the show's over."
Given how you texted me earlier this week.
How did I text you earlier this week?
That's the second time you
I joked about ending the show, and it was completely fake and a bit the whole time, and you fell for it as if it was real.
Initially, yes, and then I was like, "Hell, fucking no, you're not."
I said I was going to quit the podcast about like something that happens in episode 10.
I know.
And I do not think you figured out what that was, and you thought I was serious.
I did think you were serious. I also had like 4 different guesses as to what it was, but I did not.
The hint I gave you was something with skull.
Yeah, so you'll find out, viewers at home.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out when we get to fucking Happy Birthday Zack. But before we get to Happy Birthday Zack, we have to get to For Whom the Bell Trolls. So tell us about that one.
Yes, For Whom the Bell Trolls. Originally aired on September 15th of 1993, and then re-aired on February 20th of 2010. Written by Jeff Deckman, Ronnie Sperling, and Stuart St. John. Directed by Robert Hughes. It's like the 5th time we've heard this man's name, isn't it?
I mean, maybe, but I haven't. These names have not started to stick in my mind yet, just because I'm so used to later seasons. I'm used to like all of these names that keep appearing throughout the franchise. There's like people like Judd Lynn and Jackie Marchand and like fucking Worth.
I know why my brain recognizes Robert Hughes.
Why?
He directed Teamwork.
The bad episode?
Yeah. Like the worst episode.
Well, I guess it's probably unfair to call it bad. It is the worst
episode. Well, the worst episode that we've gotten to.
Yeah. But
you're really sticking for that. Island of Illusion is gonna have the worst episode bit.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like Teamwork wasn't bad. So like if they put in front of me a truly bad episode, I will put it below Teamwork. But Teamwork was definitely like the bare minimum of what this show is.
They also did Food Fight and Gung Ho.
Food Fight and Gung Ho were both great episodes.
Yeah.
Well, Gung Ho we haven't gotten to yet on this show.
Gung Ho, I don't know about.
Do you not know what that episode is?
I have a guess, but I don't want to go into Gung Ho.
Do you want me to confirm or deny your guess?
I assume it has something to do about them just doing something for no reason.
That's
about it.
I mean, you can make that assumption about like pretty much every Mighty Morphin episode, but surprisingly, Gung Ho is one of the few where you are wrong. They do something in that episode.
Really?
That's where a certain big white dinosaur makes his debut.
Oh. Yeah, that is a good episode.
Yeah, that one is very good. That
one is very good, especially if I remember it right. And it's got that one scene with a certain man in green and Jason.
Yes, a certain individual in green who we have not met yet, and Jason.
Yeah.
That is a pretty good episode, but this is For Whom the Bell Trolls, and let me tell you about For Whom the Bell Trolls. But yeah, it's weird. To finish my point, I'm so bad at finishing points when I'm with you because we always get on side tangents and it never stops, and we always like we were talking about our favorite Power Rangers seasons on that Detour Head episode, and I got like maybe 1/5 in the way of talking about Dino Thunder, and then we got on something else, and I did not go back. Like
Well, Detour
I was starting
Detours,
to. That's true, but I was starting to describe like all the characters, and I only got to Connor, and that scares me into thinking that people are going to think Connor is my favorite one, and not understand that I am indeed a correct boy who stands Kira in this house because I didn't even get to her, and then we moved on, and I forgot.
I remember going back and talking about Tommy afterwards.
We probably talked about like Tommy as a character, and Dino Thunder came up again. But I did not talk about Kira, Ethan, or Trent.
We did not talk about Kira, Ethan, or Trent, but I remember me specifically bringing up Tommy and discussing like reasons as to why he wasn't my favorite in that episode.
Yeah, we were talking about how Tommy is my favorite and he's not your favorite, and you talked about Dino Thunder Tommy, and I said that I liked White and Red Zeo Tommy more, and that was that conversation.
Yeah. Now, granted, I did somehow make it through all of the Jungle Fury Rangers, except for Dom.
Fuck Dom. No, like he's okay. He's alright by me. He's the worst.
I had an entire bit dedicated to Jared, but I forgot Dom.
True.
That shows how little I give a fuck about Dominic.
All Dom did was fucking date Fran, get the wife up Fran as any reasonable man should. That was the only good thing that Dom did.
Only thing that Dom did was supply Casey with the best fucking weapon in the show.
That's fair. I guess it's pretty cool.
I love specifically the combination of the Rhinomorpher and the Jungle Master Claw. That shit was fucking sick, even though it was only used once. Dom literally just served as a Casey, my favorite weapon in Power Rangers, and then date Fran.
Yeah, at least she dated, or she. At least he dated.
At least you want to make Fran a lesbian.
Wow, make Dom a girl, make Fran a lesbian. Listen, I would be okay with that development.
That would probably make them a better character, all things considered.
I mean, you could, if you wanted to make any Power Ranger a better character, I feel like make them a girl probably is high on the list of steps if they are not already a girl.
The only character that I can think that wouldn't exactly work on is probably Doggy Kruger.
I would probably like Doggy Kruger slightly more, were it to be a girl.
What are you, a furry?
Well, I mean, yes, but I'm definitely not into the fucking animatronic Doggy Kruger shit.
Doggy Kruger is not the animatronic. It's like the Mickey Mouse mascot.
It was an animatronic. The head was an animatronic.
Yeah, for like still shots, but for all of his action and like movement things, it was a dude in the suit. That's why we only ever see him when he's like talking. We see him in one frame, and that's about it.
I see.
Not sure if you noticed that in SPD or not.
I did not notice that. I want SPD to be better so bad. Like
SPD's already great.
Every time SPD falls further on my ranking, I'm like, if only Grum and Broodwing weren't the worst villains. then maybe SPD.
I like Grum, but I agree. Broodwing is the worst villain.
I don't get why you like Grum. What did Grum do? He rode a motorcycle at Doggy Kruger once or twice, and that's all he accomplished.
Terrifying monster design.
Yeah, the design is fine, but he did nothing. He just sucked the whole time.
That, and also, I really like the implication of his story into doggies, specifically.
And the whole time we find out, in all of his incompetence, he can't even be given credit for running his own evil empire, because the whole time he was working for a fucking eye tentacle in the back of the ship.
The eye tentacle thing, I do agree, was stupid. But if they hadn't have done that, if they hadn't to have done that, Grum would be higher on my list.
I have to
Probably number one.
I have to account for everything when I rank Power Rangers season. If people don't know, I'm doing like a whole Google Doc. Whenever I finish the season, I rank it. I might do like a big YouTube video once I'm done, once I've watched them all. And
I just had a
rankings.
really fucking good way to make Grum better.
How?
Give him a dedicated fight with.
Give him anything.
No. Let me finish.
A dedicated fight with anyone.
No, let me finish. Give him a dedicated sword fight with Doggy Kruger. No vehicles or anything. Just a dedicated sword fight, and have him almost kill Doggy.
I think he should have killed Doggy. I would have been much more satisfied with an ending arc of SPD, even beyond my personal disdain for Doggy Kruger. I feel like he was a character who could have died in battle in a way that would have made the story a lot more satisfying than it ended up being. The finale of SPD should have been Grum fights Doggy, Doggy dies in the fight, and Sky and Jack have to take Grum down.
I would also say Sky, Bridge, and not Sky, Bridge, and Z. Sky, Jack, and Z.
Yeah, but I feel like when you're doing the final battle with the big bad, if you have the whole team, sometimes a meaning can be lost when you have to split.
Oh no, I'm not saying the whole team.
People.
I'm just saying Jack fighting for the person who has taught him the most. Z fighting alongside her best friend in an attempt to help him avenge who was effectively a father figure, and then Sky fighting for his commander. That makes sense?
I mean, yeah, I get where you're coming from, maybe, but
it's just specifically those three while Sid, Bridge, and Sparkles go and do other fucking shit. Maybe Cat's there with a rebooted temporary morpher. Actually,
I personally think it probably would have been stronger if it was Tori. She's not in SPD. Sid, Bridge, and Z kind of have their own moment, and Sam, I guess, too, by necessity of him existing, kind of get their own moment with defending the base against whatever secondary threat exists, whether that's Broodwing or Mora, which the very brief fight between Mora and Doggy Kruger was fucking sick, and I wish Mora got to do more of that. So
it's my favorite thing, by the way.
Maybe Sid, Bridge, and Z get to go fight Mora in her fucking monster book and do that cool shit for a while, and Jack and Sky get to fight Grum.
Yeah, that's fair. Another weird thing, okay? I know why they could not have done this.
Okay.
It was because, one, they did not have enough footage. Two, they did not have the Deca Swan suit physically. They had footage.
No, Nova Ranger can go home. I don't need Nova Ranger to be important.
Deca Swan.
Cat. Oh, that's Cat. Never mind.
Yeah, that's Cat.
I thought I heard Deca Swan, and my brain was like, "What could that possibly be?" It assumed Nova Ranger.
No, the Deca Swan is the best SPD Ranger design, aside from Doggies, in my opinion.
Oh, what? Just because they have animal ears? Crow, are you the furry, actually, the whole time?
No, it's because they're fucking orange, you bitch.
Fair enough.
I'm going to say this.
Honestly, as much as I hate his Tinkerbell ass, I think my favorite suit in SPD is Sam's. That suit goes hard.
Fair. But let me say this real quick. I am a simp for non-primary Ranger colors. Okay?
Yeah, I can see that.
Anything not red, blue, black, yellow, green, or pink. I fucking love it. So your oranges, your purples, silvers usually. Not a big fan of Merrick, though, just because I don't like that design.
I mean, I'm not a big fan.
The Ranger suit design.
What Silver Rangers have I met so far? I'm not
a fan.
Zane. Not a fan of Zane.
Fuck you.
Zane is okay. Zane
You've met Gemma. Wait, no, you haven't.
Zane was technically the central character of my favorite episode of Power Rangers in Space. However, that was entirely because of Astronema, and you could have put any boy in that seat, and I would have been just as invested in Astronema being a ditzy teen and being in love with a boy and going on a date with him and trying to kill him when he's late. That is
very fair. Also,
that is the highlight of the episode. It could have been anybody, and I've met Zemma. Sure,
Gemma.
I've met Gemma.
Love Gemma.
Gemma's good. I still can't even like be solid on my RPM Ranger rankings. They're all so good. Like I know Ziggy and Dylan are very definitively my top two, but beyond that, I can't tell you. Like they're all so good in their own ways. But I feel like Gem and Gemma are probably closer to the bottom of that list just because I naturally have more of an attachment to the original 5 than I do to them.
You want to know who might be bottom of my list for RPM?
Who? Scott? That's who's bottom of my list.
Scott is... It's not because he's bad. I really like Scott.
Scott is great. Scott, like, near the end, I was like, maybe I can't have him at the bottom anymore because he's fucking awesome. But the other Rangers are still awesome, so I don't know.
Okay, here's the thing. It's not because Scott is bad. Scott is just...
Because they're all good.
Yeah, everyone fucking slaps. And Gemma got me on my ADHD kick. Flynn got me on just being fucking funny. Ziggy and Dylan are great. I don't have a better way to describe it. Go watch
There's a moment with Ziggy and Dylan. I don't know if you remember this. Let me sell you on Power Rangers RPM on what makes Power Rangers real to me, which is the power of friendship.
Hold on, I didn't get to mention Summer before we go.
Summer, I feel like almost has to be like second to the bottom or maybe even below Scott. I love her to death. She did not do much.
She is not below Flynn. Or no, she might be below Flynn, but she is not.
Flynn, I think, is my number 3. Flynn might be... I think Flynn is like my 4th favorite Blue Ranger of all time. Like, I like Tori, Rocky, and Coda better, but I think other than that...
Fair enough. I agree with having Coda up there and Tori up there.
Not Rocky, you bitch.
Not the biggest. Not over Flynn, in my opinion.
Well, you literally have not watched Zeo, so you cannot speak.
But yeah, that's what I was about to bring up. Is like I can see him as like
you've seen Rocky and Mighty Morphin, and I'm sure you seem more positive on him than most people in Mighty Morphin. But I'm sure he did not impress you as much as he could have because he is definitely objectively underutilized in Mighty Morphin.
Yeah, he really is.
In Zeo, he gets to spread his wings. That's why he's one of my favorite Blue Rangers because Zeo
I can see that. That's why TJ is one of my favorite Blues. Granted, he was the Red Ranger in Turbo.
TJ kicked ass as a Red Ranger. I think, but
I much prefer him as a Blue Ranger in the context of In Space, if that makes sense. Granted, I would have preferred him to be the Black Ranger for connection with Mega Ranger, not because of whatever reason people are going to insinuate.
Well, yeah. First of all, they didn't want to open that can of worms again, and second, there was not after Zack. There was also not that they always pay attention to this, but I think there was a very glaring height inconsistency between TJ and Carlos and between Mega Black and Mega Blue that they were like, we cannot make Carlos Mega Blue and TJ Mega Black because I think Mega Blue is a lot taller than Mega Black.
Let me check this because I don't remember if Mega Blue is taller than Mega Black.
Like the idea of in morphed form Carlos being taller than TJ was not acceptable.
No, not really.
Maybe it's more negligible if you just like look at a picture, but I bet that was part of it. There's definitely some sort of a size discrepancy.
It's like,
and also you're probably right about the whole Black Ranger.
No, Mega Black is taller.
Am I thinking the opposite then? Is Carlos taller than TJ?
No, Mega Black is taller than what the hell?
Maybe I remember hearing something about their heights. Maybe I have it all mixed up. I don't know.
But like, I always thought Carlos was
my point is that
TJ.
TJ kicked ass as a leader, and he proved that. And then immediately, fucking Space Boy shows up and says, "Look at me, I have a kidnapped sister," and now he has to take a back seat. Like,
Well, yeah,
TJ literally, like in the last episode, proved just how good and how like strong and persevering of a Red Ranger he was. And then
I
immediately,
agree.
fucking telekinetic Space Boy steals his thunder.
I agree, but
We're talking about a lot of material
this
that we
is,
have not approached yet.
or even going to remotely get to anytime soon.
Well, I mean, we'll get to like Turbo and In Space within the next like year or two. Like
No.
that's more approachable than SPD, which will be in fucking 7 years.
No, more like 4.
Yeah, because you said the way our pacing worked out, according to what I assume were some quick, rough maths that maybe didn't factor everything in.
Yeah,
But you said it was about 8 years, right? Would be the whole.
it was about 8 years to catch up.
Yeah, to get through
Everything.
like all that exists currently.
Yeah, so about 4 to get to SPD because that's roughly the halfway. 4 to 5, like between the 4 and 5 mark, I would think for SPD.
But yeah, the point I was making about SPD fucking 45 minutes ago before we went on a tangent again to finish that point.
Wait, we've been talking about this for 45 minutes.
Well, we haven't. But I'm exaggerating, but we have been talking about it for 22. So, so the point about SPD is like I have to factor. Fuck you. I have to factor everything when I rank.
You want to go watch some FPD, man?
Shut up. Shut up. You're not funny. Bad joke.
You said it.
Don't double down. I ignored it for a reason because it was not humorous, and then you said it again. But I have to factor everything in when I rank a season, which is unfortunate for SPD because it has the cast, the entire cast, supporting character, the entire good guy cast, all the supporting characters, all the Rangers, just great, with the exception of Sam and Doggy, but like they could just stand in the corner. That's
well,
fine.
fuck you.
Like the 5 core Power Rangers and like Cat and Boom and Piggy, like all.
Piggy is not a good guy.
Yes, he is.
No, he is very much in affiliation with Grub and Broodwing in multiple.
Yeah, but by the end of the show, he fucking betrays them to save the Power Rangers because he loved them the whole time.
That's why I say he's not a good guy. He's an anti-hero at best.
That's not true.
Which makes him a better character.
He became a good guy. He had an arc and became a good guy at the end. But anyway, regardless, like that cast is extremely strong, and there's so many like character moments I can point to for that cast that are masterful. But the actual plot proceedings of SPD and the threats that were present, all extremely weak compared to other seasons. Which is unfortunate, because they got this amazing cast together, and they told an underwhelming story with them. And, like, the characters did their best to carry it on their backs. And they did a great fucking job, because SPD still lives rent-free in my head, and it's always going to have a special place in my heart, because of just how good that cast was. But I can't justify putting it above other seasons that also had great cast and plots that I liked. So it just keeps falling further down the list. And I feel bad about it.
What's your number 1 currently?
Dino Thunder.
Okay. For some reason, my brain lagged out and was thinking it was Zeo. For some reason, I'm like, no, it's not.
Zeo was I always said Zeo was my favorite, but now that I'm keeping the official ranking document and I'm not putting things on there until I finish them start to finish, Zeo's not there yet, because I haven't finished that from start to finish.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking, was like,
so we'll see.
Why did I think
we'll see when... We'll see when I watch Zeo. My theory, I hate to say this, but my theory is it might end up falling behind.
Your film theory.
My film theory is that it might end up falling behind Dino Thunder and RPM, but no further. Like, it's definitely going right above Mighty Morphin at the very lowest, unless I'm like remembering it wrong, but I don't think I am. It is a very good season. But RPM and Dino Thunder definitely knocked my socks off in a way beyond what I expected when I got into them. So we'll
Fair
see. We'll
enough.
see. We'll see if Zio lives up to the favorite hype or if it ends up falling down. I know it's gonna end up being top 3, which means which I think means that moves SPD out of the top 10. I think it's 10 right now. Let me look.
What?
Yeah, it's not. It's not that low. I think it's 9. Maybe. Let me look. Yeah, it's 10 right now.
Okay. Wait, what? What the fuck?
Listen, a lot of other seasons had very good cast and very good stories, so it fell short.
Okay, hold up. Give me every season that is above SPD.
Every season that is above SPD. Okay, here we go. The first one is immediately going to make you bad. No, number 9 is Operation Overdrive.
Fuck you. You're wrong.
8 is Dino Charge.
Okay, I'll give you that.
7 is Lightspeed Rescue.
That's definite.
In Space.
Okay.
Ninja Storm.
Debatable, but yes.
Time Force.
Okay.
And then the top 3, Mighty Morphin, RPM, and Dino Thunder.
Okay. Okay, your list is better than I thought it was. I forgot. I forget how many you've actually seen for some reason. I was thinking you've only seen 11 in my brain for some reason.
It was 11 up until last week when I finished RPM and Dino Charge.
So now it's...
And Lost Galaxy is still at the bottom. And
what are the ones below?
Below SPD is, again, first one's going to make you bad. Number 11 is Jungle Fury.
Fuck you, yes, because you watched it wrong.
And then 12 is Turbo, and 13 is Lost Galaxy.
Okay.
Which the jury's still out on how Wild Force is going to fare in its battle with Lost Galaxy.
It's going to be below.
Seasons. Well, I mean, I think it literally comes down to, like, the quality of the crossover episodes, because I think they're, like, the only thing I care about in both seasons. So it's going to come down to whether Reinforcements of the Future and Forever Red beat the in-space crossover arc of Lost Galaxy, which is, I think, one of the best crossovers ever made in Power Rangers. Like, I will give Lost Galaxy that. The in-space crossover shit was great. But everything else sucked, though, so Lost Galaxy sucks.
Fair enough.
Anyway, we just had a whole fucking 30-minute side tangent about seasons we're not at yet. So let's talk about For Whom the Bell Trolls, shall we?
Want to talk about Samurai first?
Sure. What about Samurai?
That was
I mean, I'm always ready to talk about Samurai. But anyway, For Whom the Bell Trolls.
For Whom the Bell Trolls, because I have some opinions on this episode, but
I also have some opinions, and I feel like they might be different from yours.
I feel like they may.
So anyway, we start off at Angel Grove High, in a class being taught by Miss Appleby, which is this Miss Appleby's first appearance? Is it the first time we've seen her?
Yes, it is.
First appearance from Miss Appleby.
I've been keeping track of this. This is the first time that she is both mentioned by name, and the first time that she is physically there.
She will continue to be a recurring character all the way through the end of Turbo.
Exactly.
She might even be in Space.
Oh yeah, she is.
God, she was. People when they think about Power Rangers side characters, I feel like Miss Appleby and Mr. Kaplan don't come up enough, even though they were around for like way longer than you would think they would be.
I don't think about Mr. Kaplan, but I do think about Miss Appleby.
Mr. Kaplan was around just as long. He like gives a speech at the graduation and fucking
Turbo. I know. It's just I don't give a fuck about it. No offense.
Fair. He's funny. He has a toupee. He drops it to Punch Bowl, and that was a funny bit.
Yeah, it was funny, but it had also been a while since I'd seen that bit. So
he fingers some cake. He's a great guy. But so it's Hobby Week.
Time we go her back into that fucking episode, you're just gonna fucking make me burst out laughing.
Hobby Week at Angel Grove High. And Trini has volunteered to talk about her hobby, so she gets.
Wait, hold up. I thought Billy's was last.
Yep.
What was the order of the hobbies? That's such.
We'll find
I
out
remember
together,
the
Pro
hobbies
Royalty,
weird. I
because I
remember
do
Trini
not.
being like third.
As you recall, I write down literally every detail that
I
occurs
know,
in these
and
episodes, so we will get there.
that's
But
why my brain's thinking about it weird.
I cannot tell you until we get there, though. So Trini brought in some fucking creepy ass dolls because she collects dolls. You see, these dolls are meant to represent different cultures. She shows off one from Japan that is wearing a kimono. Bulk and Skull are mocking her from the audience, but she doesn't care because Bulk and Skull suck. And then Trini.
I do have something positive to say about this episode, just right off the bat, real quick.
Okay.
Good job, Trini.
True. Very true.
You kind of won me over with that, but like I like the doll, but God, you have such a weird fucking hobby.
Yeah, she has a weird hobby. But speaking of the weird hobby, she shows off the creepiest doll in her collection, also her favorite, because of course it is.
Of course
Mr.
it fucking
Tickle
is.
Sneezer.
Mr. fucking what?
Mr. Tickle Sneezer. Did you
This
forget that was his name?
This is another case of Lunk.
Okay,
My
well,
ass.
I'm not changing this name. This name is perfect the way it is.
It's great, but my brain fucking had been calling him Fickleweezer.
Nope, it is definitely Tickle Sneezer.
My brain had been calling this motherfucker Fickleweezer for some reason.
So, Mr. Tickle Sneezer.
I just heard it wrong. Somebody was talking to me when they first said it, and then my brain just auto-corrected.
That's
so
fair.
It's just Fickleweezer in my brain.
So Tickle Sneezer belonged to Trini's mother when she was a little girl. And Bulk and Skull do some more mocking. And then
honestly,
Trini...
can we talk about how like kind of earned this mocking is, though?
What do you mean by this?
Like, okay, it's kind of fucking, or it's really fucking strange for a almost adult to be collecting dolls, let alone ones that fucking cool.
Hey, I wouldn't call them almost adults, because for the timeline to work, they do have to be fucking freshmen in this season. So,
I thought they were like...
They may be sophomores.
I thought they were sophomores.
I think there were 2 seasons in the same year at some point, and it might have been season 1 and season 2. But all I know is that the 10th season came out 9 years after the first. So at some point we have to have lost a year. Because we had this whole argument about like 10th anniversary seasons, because obviously technically they treated Wild Force like the 10th anniversary season. But technically the season that was airing, the 10th year that Power Rangers was a thing, was Ninja Storm.
You wanna know where I think they lost a year?
Where?
Alien Rangers of Aquitar.
That doesn't count as its own season.
According to Netflix, it fucking does.
According to Netflix, it does, but that doesn't...
That was the joke that I was making.
Maybe that's why. Maybe they were counting Alien Rangers as its own season, and that's why they were like, yeah, Wild Force is the 10th one, bro. But the world may never know.
The world will never know. See, like, the other reason that I bring that up is there's also... Wait, hold up, does Forever Red have 11 Red Rangers?
No.
Hold on.
It should, but Rocky's missing.
Okay.
There were 11 Red Rangers at the time of Forever Red, just Rocky didn't show up.
Yeah, okay, yeah. There should have been 11. Never mind. Like, the reason that my brain started thinking about that is because Eric's there. So that should make it 11.
But Rocky was not, so that makes
Rocky
it
was
10.
not.
But anyway, folks, let's get back to the episode, because I would like to be out of here at a reasonable hour.
At a reasonable hour, and then I'm going to stay up for another 3 hours afterwards.
I mean, I might have to, because I'm going to feel bad if I don't get this out until like super late tomorrow morning.
It's fine. Like, go ahead. It happens.
It does happen. We are recording this on Saturday night, because I almost died on Wednesday, cause of death, Taco Bell. And we couldn't.
You wouldn't tell me that. You did not
tell me. Did I not tell you that?
No, you did not. You just said you felt sick. I was like,
so what happened was I ate like too much Taco Bell, and I guess there might have been something wrong with it too. Because what happened was I was in agonizing, awful stomach pain, and it was like the grossness was trespassing in my body because for the first evening I couldn't even like force myself to shit or vomit. Like it just trespassed in my body and would not leave. So I laid in agony all of Wednesday night and near delirium. And then my shits were liquid for the next 3 days, and I've had a stomachache ever since. Still, so
you want to know how you fix this problem?
how?
Don't eat Taco Bell.
Never eating Taco Bell again. Never eating Taco Bell again. I
Unless
was
you're
high
high
when
as
I ate a
fuck.
Taco Bell.
Oh,
So,
that sucks.
unfortunate things that have occurred. Fucking never eating
Taco Bell killing
Taco Bell
Riely.
again,
That
bro.
should be the fucking huh?
Never eating Taco Bell again.
That should be the episode title. Taco Bell kills Riely.
Cause of death, Taco Bell is definitely in the running.
I don't know why I find that one so funny. Anyway, back to this episode and Trini's creepy ass fucking dolls.
Yes, let's go. Try not to think of a new joke for every fucking line I say. Let's try to get through this.
I'm not trying to, but like the fucking Taco Bell thing is really funny.
So Snickle teaser, yep, sure.
Snickle teaser.
Snickle teaser.
Nickel Feezer.
Tickle Sneezer belonged to Trini's mother when she was a little girl, which Bulk and Skull mock at more. And then Trini's like, Tickle Sneezer, it said that he has a special power. He can capture things and put them in a magic bottle. And then we cut to Rita, who is watching the presentation, and she's a little jealous because she never got to play with dolls as a kid. She didn't have time because she was too busy learning evil spells and how to be bad.
I have a question, Rita.
Sure.
How are you able to see through a building?
She has a magic telescope.
It feels weird. Anytime that they're like inside
Evil witch magic. It's not just a normal telescope.
No, what I'm saying is like, okay, it just feels weird that every time that they're doing something inside and Rita's looking in on it, it's the same weird bit that I have with Diva Boob's fucking like periscope. You get what I mean? I get it's magic, but it's weird. That makes sense.
Yeah. But anyway, Rita's like, that Trini has had it. And then we go back to the classroom. Appleby calls Jason up next. He shows off his sick, epic bow staff skills. And Bulk just mocks him by spinning a pencil around, and then he breaks the pencil.
The fact that I can do what Jason did, though, because he didn't show off anything that's super hard. It's just like the same move.
Yeah.
With slight variations.
Zack shows off his surfing skills by just putting a surfboard on Applebee's desk and I guess like going over the motions of surfing. Kim shows off her gymnastics
I thought he was
skills.
snowboarding.
Maybe it was snowboard? I thought it was
he was snowboarding because he mentioned during that he was or that you like are going down. You just cruise on down. Like
maybe he meant cruise on down the wave.
How the fuck would you cruise down a fucking wave?
Isn't that how surfing? You start at the top of the wave, and then the surfboard kind of like settles in the middle.
No, you don't. You start at the bottom and go up, and then back down. But you start at the bottom.
Yeah, so that's part of sliding back down. Is part of surfing.
He was also wearing a fuck ton of like winter clothes and whatnot, so pretty sure it was snowboarding.
I don't recall the winter clothes that you're referring to.
He had like on a bulky ass jacket and some like pants.
Are you sure about this? Have you
Yeah, I
verified
am
this
like
information?
99.9% sure. So we need to just start adding to your notes. Keep track of outfits.
Maybe. Hold on. I will be right back.
Are you adding that to your notes?
No, I'll be right back.
Oh my god. Do 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 do. And we're back. No, we're not. He's still gone. Doobie doobie doo ba doobie doobie doo Pop Berry. He's a semi-aquatic, playing mammal of action. Doobie doobie. Furry little flatfoot who never goes far astray. He's got more than just mad skills. He's got a beaver tail and a bill. And the ladies swoon whenever they hear him say, he's Perry, Perry the platypus. He's Perry, Agent E. This has been your intermission. Thank you very much. And good night.
All right.
All rise for his honorable podcasting
Of
person
course.
has returned.
So Kim shows off her gymnastic skills by walking on her hands on Miss Appleby's desk. Appleby is intimidated by this display. She is scared of Kim's powers. Which by the way, if I could be a guy for a second, which spoilers, next episode I'm gonna be being a guy for a lot more than a second. Stay tuned, folks. But if I could be a guy for a second during this episode, Kim is looking good today. she's on fleek today.
See, I was gonna say I was kind of surprised her shirt stayed up the way that it did.
She's magical.
Yeah.
But we'll talk a lot more about Kimberly next episode. Stay tuned.
Wait, what does Kimberly have to do with the
Hey, we'll get there.
Oh, never mind. Never mind.
Do you remember now? You
Yeah.
remember all the things?
Yeah.
But
you're gonna. I've got some words.
Okay, well, we'll see. So Billy has a remote controlled mini volcano with some pink bubbly lava in there, and that's what he shows off. And then the bell rings, class is over, and Applebee's like, "Hey, Hobby Week's gonna continue tomorrow," and she gives them their homework assignment as they're walking out. And their assignment, by the way, is to read chapter 4 of their English textbook entitled question marks. Why do we need them? So
What?
I feel like that's a lesson you learn in like elementary school. And they're reading about why they need question marks for their fucking high school homework.
As sophomores.
Yeah, or freshmen, vaguely. Who knows?
I'm sticking with sophomores.
But so yeah, everybody's leaving. But Billy, Trini, Bulk, and Skull lag behind. Trini compliments Billy's volcano. I remember some joke about this volcano that I wrote, but maybe it's later. Maybe the volcano comes back. Oh, I know the joke now. I know the joke now. But anyway, so Trini compliments Billy's volcano. Bulk comes up and just snatches Mr. Tickle Sneezer. He starts playing Keep Away. Trini's like, "Give it back, Bulk!" And then Bulk throws it to Skull. Skull mocks Trini and calls it a dolly, and then throws it back to Bulk. Trini intercepts it in the air, and then as Bulk goes for it, he accidentally turns on the volcano and gets pink gooped. So
can we talk about how Skull gets gooped every episode in one way or another now?
Yeah, that's how it works. So Skull goes to incompetently help clean Bulk up, and Bulk gets angry about that and spits some pink goop at him. And then Trini and Billy laugh, and they get real up close and personal in this scene, by the way. Like, I'm starting to see what these Trini and Billy shippers are talking about. Like, I'm starting to notice things. They're real fucking close in this scene. Like, I think Trini might be looking to make something else besides that volcano erupt. If you know what I'm saying, dog. You know what I'm saying, dog.
They're gonna go back to the lab, or not to the lab, to the lab.
Oh yeah, back to the lab where they can ignore their friends as they're being fought by a monster.
Okay. On another note, so I finally see what episode or where Jason Narvey was referring to, because there is an episode. I think that that might be next episode.
Shut up!
I for some reason I thought it was something from last week that I had forgotten to bring up for a
No.
second, and then I fucked up. Never mind. We'll talk about that later.
So anyway, we cut to later that evening. We're in Trini's room. It's just full of creepy ass dolls. She starts talking to said dolls. She's like, "You guys have had a long day." Oh, actually, I've had a long day. She goes to lay down.
What I was talking about? This is fucking weird.
She goes to lay down. She says goodnight to Tickle Sneezer and puts him on the nightstand next to her. Then she turns off her lamp and goes to sleep. Then we cut to Rita's, and she notices that Trini has a particular fondness for Tickle Sneezer, and she's going to do an evil about that. So Goldar, who sounds wrong again, by the way, he sounded right in a previous episode, but he's back to sounding wrong. He tells Lunk to go get the doll. So we cut to Trini's, and Lunk teleports into her bedroom. Hey, Crow. So this bit has been done to death by literally anyone who's ever talked about this episode under any context. But like, why not just kill her in her sleep? Why not just kill all of them in their sleep if you could just teleport into their house at night?
Because I don't have a reason.
No, nobody has. It's because then Power Rangers wouldn't happen.
Well, it would, but you want to know you want to know how you make Power Rangers not happen?
Well, how it happens is one of them gets murdered, and they're like, "Oh shit, we should just like live in the command center now to avoid this happening again." And that's they solved that problem. No, but then,
who becomes the Yellow Ranger? Yeah, but then who becomes the Yellow Ranger? Because then Min doesn't exist.
Min is not born yet.
Still kind of mad.
There's this real nice girl at Stone Canyon High named Aisha Campbell.
No, they would have to kill at least 3. They would have to kill at least 3 for that to work. No.
Would they?
Yeah.
Could not just Aisha be a Power Ranger? Is that not possible?
Well, no, they'd have to kill at least 2 for me to be happy with it.
Well, I'm not talking about being happy with it. I'm just saying if Trini gets killed in her sleep, then like we know who's next in line. So
well, yeah, but
Rocky and Adam can stay in Stone Canyon for a while, up until a peace conference happens, and then fucking Jason, Zack, and Kimberly get chosen, and we have to grab fucking Cindy Lou from Stone Canyon High to be the new Pink Ranger.
No, the new Pink Ranger. The new Pink Ranger would be
Miss Appleby. Anyway, folks, we gotta get off. We gotta keep going.
My joke from another conversation that we've had.
I don't think that's real.
No, we got to talking about who should have been the Power Rangers instead of the Alien Rangers one day, and we were like, Miss Appleby should have been the Pink Ranger while they were kids.
This isn't real. This is not a real conversation. I never said.
You were high as fuck. No, I said the Miss Appleby thing.
Maybe I was not listening then. I do not recall.
Because the Red Ranger was Lieutenant Stone.
Lieutenant Stone could be a Power Ranger. He's a trained police officer.
No, it was like what happens, or what should have happened instead of the Alien Rangers existing was like the adults that we see in the series becoming temporary Rangers to help out. And so we went through a bunch of different characters, or like side characters, trying to figure out who would be Rangers, and we determined that it was Miss Appleby as the Pink Ranger. Dex from Masked Rider would somehow arrive and become our replacement Black Ranger. Lieutenant Stone was the Red Ranger. The principal was like the Blue Ranger or something. I will go find this list later. It was funny. I'm surprised you don't remember this conversation. My internet crash?
God fucking damn it. I swear to God, this has to be happening without my influence. I can't be just muting myself and forgetting about it this fucking much. Something has to be awry. So sick of this shit. But
I swear, I thought my internet crashed. I was so confused.
Yeah, I don't remember this happening. So Lunk's in Trini's bedroom. Lunk laughs loudly and uses a very loud machine to bring Tickle Sneezer to life. Trini sleeps through all of this. Then Lunk teleports away with a newly alived Tickle Sneezer. Then we cut to Rita's, where she is just yelling at Tickle Sneezer. She's like, "Stand still!" And Tickle Sneezer's like, "I'm nervous. I don't know what it's like to be alive." And then Rita's like, "Should I just turn you back then?" And then Tickle Sneezer's like, "No, I like being alive. I just don't know." And Rita's like, "I've heard you have an ability that could assist me. What can you do? Tell me what you can do." And Tickle Sneezer is like, "I got a goodie bottle, and I could put my goodies in the goodie bottle." And Fizzler's like, he can collect anything that he considers a goodie, anything at all. And then Babu's like, Tickle Sneezer's gonna collect a whole lot of things, and Tickle Sneezer's like, yeah, I want to collect a lot of things. And then Babu's like, yeah, and you'll collect the Power Rangers. And then Rita yells at Tickle Sneezer and tells him to take his bottle to Earth and obey her all commands. So that's how that's going for Tickle Sneezer. We cut to outside the juice bar, where Trini's telling Billy about how she lost Tickle Sneezer, and she is dragging him along on a retracing her steps adventure. Then we cut to Tickle Sneezer. He's landing in the city. He's talking to himself about how he's going to collect a lot of things. Then he's like, "Ooh, a goodie! See a goodie." The goodie is a motorcycle. He opens his bottle, sucks it up. Now the motorcycle's in the bottle. So that's what Tickle Sneezer can do. That's what he's capable of.
He's capable of sucking up things.
He can suck up anything. So we cut to Trini just for like 1 second.
Suck up everything.
Yep. We get to Trini for like 1 second driving.
Why do we make dirty jokes every fucking episode?
I tried to ignore it. Don't bring it up again. It was a bad one.
It was a bad one.
When I ignore your jokes, don't repeat them or make reference to them, because I'm doing it on purpose. So Trini's driving for just like 1 second, and then we come back to Tickle Sneezer, and he's sucking up a radio tower. And now he sees a car. Uh-oh. We cut to Trini. She pulls over, and she's talking to Billy in the car. And she's like, he wasn't at the school, he wasn't at the juice bar. And then Billy's like, I don't want to accuse anybody, but maybe somebody stole Tickle Sneezer. But then Tickle Sneezer walks up on them, and then Trini sees him, and her eyes go wide, and she's like, Billy, I think we found him. And Billy looks up, and he is also freaked out by the giant living doll, as anybody would be. So this car is a goodie. So Tickle Sneezer puts it in his bottle. And Trini and Billy also get sucked into the bottle. And Tickle Sneezer's like, oh, what a good goodie. There's even 2 little goodies inside of this big goodie. So now he has Billy and Trini. They're screaming for help. They're like, he's gonna crush us! Ah! And Tickle Sneezer's like, I don't want to hurt you. I just want to put you in my collection and have you forever. You belong to me forever now, just like all of the goodies that I have.
God fucking damn, this sounds like a perv.
And then Rita's laughing evilly. She's like, oh, the plan's going well. Goldar, go make sure he doesn't fuck it up. And then she tells Lunk and Babu to get ready to go to Earth. Then we cut to the juice bar. Jason and Zack are sparring. Kim is watching. They go at each other for a bit, and then they compliment each other's moves. It's a very good exchange. And Kim has brought some boards for them to break. Some fancy karate boards to chop through. So they lay down the boards, and Kim is like, wow, isn't it amazing how many years of training it takes to break these boards with your hand without hurting yourself? So basically what she's saying is, don't try this at home, kids.
Those were not boards. Those were cinder blocks.
They put boards in between the cinder blocks.
They did, but it was mostly the cinder blocks that is fucking dangerous to do, because you will break your hand if you hit them wrong.
They weren't breaking the cinder blocks. The cinder blocks were simply used as a placement tool
it
for
wasn't
the.
like it's not the cinder blocks that you normally think of. It's like there are specific cinder blocks
They
made
used. I saw what you're talking. I saw this scene. The cinder blocks were just used to put the boards in between.
There's right. Okay, there are slightly thinner cinder blocks that were like solid cement, basically. That's what he was breaking, because those motherfuckers were not boards. Those were gray as shit and looked like
No, they
rock.
weren't. They were literally wooden boards.
They
Literally
looked
fucking
gray
wooden
as
ass,
fuck to me.
golden wood ass boards.
They were not gold.
You're wrong. You are remembering incorrectly.
No, because that was the
There
thing. That I
were
was like,
cinder
did this
blocks
motherfucker just break
involved. There were
cinder
also
blocks?
boards involved.
No, it was. Did this motherfucker just break cinder blocks? I gave it the
No.
stupid look in class. Had to like physically turn my head. Like, what the fuck?
Hey, Crow, remember that fun fact about yourself where you're colorblind?
I asked somebody else too, and they agreed they look like fucking cinder blocks.
Because they were looking at the cinder blocks, which are
No,
separate
I
from the
pointed
boards.
directly at the fuck what you're saying are fucking boards, and they were like, "Yeah, those look like fucking cement."
You're fucking wrong. You're
No,
incorrect. I'll go look at this shit right now. I am 1000% confident that you are wrong. For whom the bell rolls.
wait, wait, is this episode of Metallica reference?
Yes, probably.
I did not. Okay, I did not know that. Hold on.
Hold on. He's bottling up goodies. Oh wow, look at Kim and Jason, both with wooden boards in their hands.
I
Look,
cannot find
I
the
wonder
episode
what those
anymore.
are.
I can't find the episode anymore. All I'm getting are Metallica videos.
Because you have to look up Bell Trolls, idiot. You have to actually put in the real name of the episode. Wow, look at those wooden boards that they have. Look at those nice wooden boards.
I'm still getting Metallica videos.
I'm screen sharing it. Dumbass.
I was trying to open it on my own YouTube. I wasn't looking at the screen share. Those still look gray as fuck to me.
Those are
That might just
wooden
be.
fucking boards.
Those look gray as fuck. But whatever.
They're obviously made of wood, though.
They do not look it from this angle. Whatever.
Whatever. I know I'm right now because I can look at these and obviously see that they're wooden boards. So you can continue to be incorrect, and we'll move on. So Kim is like, Kim makes it a point to be like, oh, it takes so many years of training to do this safely, so that you don't do it at home. And then Jason
Despite being one of the easiest things to do.
I don't think that's
if
true.
it is boards. If it is boards.
Still don't think that's true. Jason breaks.
Motherfucker, I was doing it as a fucking 7-year-old, barely a year in.
So Jason breaks 2 boards. They all celebrate. Bulk and Skull are watching from the bar, and Bulk's like, any wimp could do that trick. And then Skull's like, yeah, any wimp could do that trick. And then Bulk, as annoyed with this bit as we are, says, I just said that. Then Skull says, right, that's what you just said. and then Bulk shows off his fist, and he's like, my hand is a lethal weapon. I'm going to demonstrate that. So Skull grabs a cake for him to demonstrate on, which I wrote down. I'm sure this will go great for Farkas Bulkmeyer. It did go better than I thought it would. So Bulk karate chops this cake. I said Bulk.
To start, you said bone.
I did not say bone. Only the word Bulk came out of my mouth. So
I heard bone.
So Bulk karate chops the cake. And surprisingly does not make a big mess. But after his hand goes through the cake, it hits the plate and it hurts his hand because he hit the plate. Then we go back to our heroes. They've set up 4 boards now, and Jason's about to chop through them, but they get the beep 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 beep. It's sword on time. Beep beep beep. So Kim says, "Let's book," because this show was made many years ago. Then we cut to the not tiny Rangers in the command center. asking Zordon what's going on. And Zordon's like, Billy and Trini are in trouble, and Alpha goes, ay, 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 and then they look at the viewing globe. They see Tickle Sneezer, who Jason recognizes, and Kim's like, what's he doing? And then Zack's like, he's getting everything. And then we see him capturing like a fucking whole ass airplane, and a bunch of other shit. Zordon's like, Rita's controlling Tickle Sneezer, and Billy and Trini have fallen into her trap. And then they come up in the viewing globe, and Trini and Billy are like, help, please, Kimberly, Jason, help. And they're like, we're gonna save our friends. And then Zordon's like, there's an army of putties. And Zack's like, we'll get through them. No sweat. We gotta save our friends right now. And Zordon's like, Goldar, Lunk, and Babu are there too. So just be prepared for that too. And they morph. They immediately jump into a putty fight. As the Rangers are murdering the putties, Lunk and Babu are just like bumbling around. Then we cut to a bit more fighting from Zack. We cut to Tickle Sneezer chuckling for a second. And then we immediately cut to Jason just fucking murdering putties with his blade blaster. But then he comes to blows with Goldar. Lunk and Babu bumble a little bit more. Tickle Sneezer's like, fuck this, I'm getting out of here. But he trips on a cinder block and drops his bottle, and the bottle goes flying. And there's a little moment where Lunk looks at the bottle flying through the air, and I think considers trying to catch it for a second, and then he's like, fuck it, and does not try to catch it. Kim jumps into the air and catches it, and that she has it now. It's the one with Billy and Trini in it. She's about to free them, but she gets attacked by Goldar, and the bottle goes flying into the air. And Tickle Sneezer's like, oh no, my goodies! And then the bottle lands on some train tracks where there is currently a train incoming. Billy and Trini are like, oh no, fuck, help, we're in trouble. Kim tries to go save them, but she still has Goldar to deal with. Goldar and Kim are fighting. Tickle Sneezer's like, stop that train! But they do not stop that train. Kim finally breaks away from Goldar and does jump in to save Billy and Trini just in time, so they are not flattened by a train. Kim opens the bottle, sets them and their car free. They get out of the car, and Kim's like, we need your help, so they morph. They all equip their blade blasters in blade mode and just start fucking slicing through some putties. And then Tickle Sneezer's like, where's my bottle? I want to collect more things. Where's my bottle? And then Rita comes in and is like, catch those damn Power Rangers! And Tickle Sneezer's like, I know I have to listen to everything you say, and like I understand that, but like I don't have my bottle right now, so I can't really do that. And then Rita's like, no excuses! And makes him grow. The Rangers all get knocked down by Goldar right as that's happening. But then Goldar, Lunk, and Babu just leave because I guess they're just not needed anymore.
Nope.
Tickle Sneezer's big now. He's walking around the city as a big guy. The Power Rangers call up their Zords. I'm turning on my air conditioner, by the way. Get ready for some background noise. I'm sorry, folks. I'm in a battle with the fucking swamp that is the Florida air right now, and I have lost. It just tortures me to my core because I know that people can hear the air conditioner, and I know that that's something that frustrates me whenever I listen to a podcast. If I hear a fan or an air conditioner, that's the most frustrating shit. But at the same time, there's literally nothing I can do about it, and I do live in the state of Florida. So, sorry.
I did not hear the said air conditioner.
You don't, but Craig will. That's the weirdest thing. Every time I'm like, hey guys, can you hear my air conditioner? And they're like, no. And then I get the recording in my fucking ears, clear as day.
Bruh.
It's so annoying. But anyway.
Does your noise cancellation not work on it or something?
I guess Craig like ignores it maybe. That's the only thing I can think of, but I don't know why that would be the case.
Fucking weird. I would also, if you can find this, see if you can find like so I know you have a robot that cuts out silence. Do you think you could find one that cuts out background noise?
Such a thing does exist, but what I found was when my other editor was using it, it was resulting in just like us getting cut out, us being confused for noise and cutting out happening that was not there on the raw recording. So we stopped trying to do that.
Okay, that's fair. I don't know the editing software or anything.
I'd probably have to just like look up a tutorial and try to figure out like what I was doing wrong or what Jason was doing wrong, whatever. I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's probably not that big of a deal. Even if it's in, like, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. People listen to podcasts where that's the case. I've done it. It happens. I live in the state of Florida. I'm sorry. So the Zords get called. The Rangers board. They power up their crystals. It's Megazord time. No tank mode action. Just man mode time. And Zack's like, we gotta get Tickle Sneezer's bottle. And then he's like, oh, the Megazord. That's the best goodie. I want that one. And then he bottles up the Megazord successfully with all the Rangers inside. But then Jason calls the Mega Power Sword, which sticks in the ground, and that causes Tickle Sneezer to fall, drop the bottle, and the Megazord is released. Now Megazord has the bottle, and Tickle Sneezer's like, give it back, I gotta collect more things. And then Rita, along with Goldar, Lunk, and Babu, arrive, and Rita's like, you're a nice little doll, thank you for wanting to collect things for me, for being a loyal soldier. And then Jason's like, hey Rita, we're gonna put you in the bottle if you don't release Tickle Sneezer. But he makes this threat, and gives Rita 0 time to make a decision on this ultimatum, because he just opens the bottle up and starts sucking him up. I'm
gonna say this, Jason, you're a fucking genius.
True.
You should have done that, and you shouldn't have given her time. You shouldn't have even asked her. You should have just opened the fucking bottle and captured Rita and put her in the command center, because we know Zordon knows how to shrink things.
But yeah, so Lunk almost got. He's like holding onto a pole, like, oh no, I'm being sucked in.
Rita should have been got.
And well, they're all like in the process of getting got. It's just that Lunk gets the closest when he like flies off the ground and is grabbing the pole. And then Rita stop.
I just thought about something. Did they all share the space dumpster?
Yes.
Why does that feel so
weird? Why is it the first time you've thought of that? That yes, they all came out of it. Why wouldn't have they shared it?
It's part of, like, okay. Remember the little tiny space dumpster? For some reason, my brain, anytime I think about the space dumpster, my brain thinks about the space dumpster being the size of that little tiny one. I know it's not, but that's what I keep thinking that it is for some reason. So it bothers me anytime I have the thought of, wait, did they share this?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird.
But anyway, so Rita stops the bottle with her wand, and then she's like, I'll be back, and then they leave. Then we cut back to the command center, and Zordon's like, Tickle Sneezer's got to give all that stuff back. And then Alpha's like, how do we know that he's going to give it back? And then Zordon's like, Tickle Sneezer has a good heart. He never meant to hurt anyone. He's just a big dumbo. So we cut back to the Rangers, where Trini is an angry mom yelling at Tickle Sneezer to give back all the stuff he stole. And Jason's like, you got to do that before you hurt somebody. Then Tickle Sneezer's like, oh, gee, golly gosh, I don't want to hurt anyone. And he agrees to give all the stuff back. Does he not realize by keeping 2 sentient beings in a bottle forever, he is hurting them? Because, like, he knew Trini and Billy were in that bottle. He knew that somebody was flying that airplane. Like
he knew that a bunch of people were in that building.
Yeah, like, okay. But yeah, he doesn't want to hurt anybody, so he's giving all the stuff back.
Well, okay, so I think part of it is he doesn't realize what he's doing, because the way that he looks at life is different than how we look at it.
Yeah, maybe it didn't click for him until Jason's like, you will hurt people. And then Tickle Sneezer's like, oh shit, I didn't realize. Yeah. So he gives all the stuff back. And then we start to hear a weird whispery Trini voice just continually telling Tickle Sneezer to give it all back. To give it back, Tickle Sneezer. Give it back. Give it all back. And we slowly fade back into Trini asleep in her bed. So I guess this whole fucking episode was nothing but a dream, folks. Trini darts awake from the
By
bad
that
dream
comment,
she
I
just
think you might
had.
actually have the same opinion of this episode as I do.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. She wakes from the bad dream she had. She looks around her room, and then Trini's like, "Oh, it was just a dream." And then she turns her lamp on to look at the real Tickle Sneezer. But he is missing. He's actually missing for real. And Trini's like, "Oh no, maybe it was real the whole time." But then Tickle Sneezer was just on the ground. He had fallen off of the nightstand. So she smiles and giggles in relief, and she picks Tickle Sneezer up. She's very happy he's still there, and starts to talk to the doll about how she has too much Rita on her mind. Which fair, I think your mental health would be affected if there was an evil space witch trying to kill you. So it makes sense that she's having like fucking night terrors about Rita. But she turns her light off. She goes to sleep, hugging Tickle Sneezer. And that's where we leave Trini to have the remainder of her good night's sleep. Then we cut to the school. It's time for the last presentation for Hobby Week. Bulk and Skull, which I believe this is the first time that they are name dropped as Farkas and Eugene, because Appleby calls them Farkas and Eugene.
It is.
So they get up there and they like parasites. They're really into parasites. They're like, we collect fleas from local dogs.
Like, okay, real quick, can we talk about how that's actually really nice?
I mean, that is nice. You're right. You
Like,
free the dogs from
free
the
the dogs from the fleas. But
so they collect fleas from local dogs. And then
they
Skull
do it
has
for a very
something.
specific purpose.
Yeah, Skull has a thing, and Bulk's like, "Show him, Skull." And then he has a flea circus, but there are no fleas in the flea circus. Wherever could the fleas have gone? Surprisingly, it is not Bulk, but it's Miss Appleby that ends up getting got by those fleas. She's itching. Everybody laughs, and we freeze frame. And that is the end of For Whom the Bell Trolls. So, Crow Royalty, final thoughts?
I don't like this episode very much,
I
at all.
Vehemently disagree with that statement. I think this episode was extremely solid.
My thing is, 1, why didn't they kill them in their sleep? 2, why didn't Jason go through with the bottle thing? 3.
He did. Like I said, he asked the question, but he did not give her time to answer. He opened the bottle immediately.
But like, he should have just continued and sucked the bitch up. That or bent the Megazord down and scooped this bitch up so she didn't have time to react.
He only stopped when Rita blasted him. He didn't stop on purpose.
I'm just saying, she should have been captured.
But like, there obviously there are flaws with this episode. I don't like that it was all a dream. It doesn't make sense that Lunk didn't just kill Trini in her sleep. But
that might be why, because if it was a dream, then Lunk wouldn't be Lunk.
True. But that cop out at the end sucks, but I think the content of the episode itself is very good. I think Tickle Sneezer is a fun, creative monster. I think that the character arc of Trini was done well.
The design of this monster, no offense.
I mean, like, maybe the design is bad.
He looks like the Lucky Charms motherfucker did crack.
Listen, man, he doesn't look the best, but I think it was a fun and goofy episode of Power Rangers, and I'm always here for that type of shit. And I think that Trini's arc in the episode was done well. I like that it's kind of in a weird roundabout way exploring the like trauma and fear that comes with fighting a space witch once a week for your entire life. And you know, I liked it a lot. I think this episode was extremely solid. And we'll argue about where we rank it in a minute. But first, we have 2 other questions to answer. Who's your favorite character? Come on. There's about one correct answer, I think.
I'm trying to think which is the correct answer. Because I don't necessarily like people in this episode.
I mean, I guess I'll go first, and I'll say the obvious thing if it's Trini with a bullet. Like, I think it's hard to argue that her character arc was not good in this episode. Like, I think it's Trini easy.
Fuck you for that pun.
What pun?
You just said it's Trini easy, like pretty easy.
That was not a pun.
That's fucking, my brain's tired.
What
It
the
sounded like a
fuck?
pun. It sounded like a pun in my brain, the way it processed it. I'm tired, man.
What the fuck?
I just want to talk about Happy Birthday, Zack. Honestly.
Listen, we'll get there soon. Who's your favorite character and for whom the bell trolls?
I'm giving it the lug.
Why? For what purpose?
Almost getting
Are
sucked
you
up.
refusing? Why is it not Trini?
Literally, this feels like a nothing episode to me. Beyond, like, just the plot hole.
I think
that
you're
kind of
you're way off base about this episode. I think this
It's
episode has a
just
lot
not
more
my
good
favorite,
stuff than
but
you're giving
it
it
might
credit
be
for.
because it might be because I wasn't entirely paying that much attention because other shit kept happening while I was trying to watch it.
Yeah, maybe
So I
pay the
kept
fuck
getting pulled up.
attention, Crow Royalty.
What?
I said maybe pay the fuck attention, Crow Royalty.
I paid attention to Happy Birthday, Zack, because people stopped bothering me. But if people are bothering me while I'm trying to watch shit and I don't have time to restart it to watch it because I didn't, then kind of get shafted on this episode.
Listen, okay,
Still not my favorite, but Lung has some funny moments that make me like him.
Favorite scene, which I forgot about for a minute. Probably just the ending scene where Trini talks to Tickle Sneezer about having Rita on her mind. Because again, I really like that aspect is being explored in a small way. So I'll give it to that. What about you?
Lunk sneaking into Trini's house.
Also fair.
That's kind of why Lunk got picked as favorite episode, because that scene sticks out here entirely for me from this episode. Is just Lunk just standing there for a minute.
So about where this episode goes, right? Here's my opinion.
It's not as bad as Teamwork.
It does not go. I think it's way higher than that. It does not go It does not go any higher than any of the ones we like actively praised. Like those top 4, we had very active praise for. It is not as good as those. I think it's better than a pressing engagement.
I'm trying to remember which episode that is.
That's bench pressing Jason.
Not better than a pressing engagement.
I think it's better than a pressing
Definitely engagement. Not better than a pressing engagement. It is like right below that. But
you think a pressing engagement is better, but Big Sisters is not?
Big Sisters, nah.
That is acceptable, I suppose. I will make that compromise. So, coming in at number 6, For Whom the Bell Trolls.
It might also be because I just really remember really liking a pressing engagement for some reason.
I mean, it is the King Sphinx episode, so it has that going for it. I just don't think
I like the Jason bits from that episode.
That's true. I think I was just more satisfied with Trini's character arc in this episode than I was Jason's in that one personally, but I'm willing to put it right below.
And also there's Austin St. John doing almost, what was it, 3,000 reps?
I don't think Austin St. John did that in real life.
No, that's what this implies.
Jason did it in the show, yeah.
That's what this implies. So it was like, what, 3,000 reps with, I think we calculated to be like 200 something pounds?
Yeah, it was a silly time for Jason that episode.
Dude, that shit. Yeah, that's a fucking feat.
Folks, now we got to talk about episode 10 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Happy birthday, Zack! Tell us about it.
If my phone will load, because I had it open. What the fuck? Okay, so this episode originally aired on September 16th of 1993 and then re-released on February 27th of 2010. Written by Stuart St. John and directed by Jeff Rayner. No wonder I have such an opinion on this episode.
Is that the same people as last one?
No. Jeff Rayner is the one who did a different drum.
Oh, that's fair.
So no wonder I have such an opinion on this episode.
Which, by the way, I guess not to spoil anything, but I think this episode has pretty similar vibes. So I'm actually not surprised to hear it. But so
I forgot where we ranked a different drum. I don't think
it's number 1 right now.
Yeah.
But so we start off at the juice bar, at the bar of the juice bar, where there is a cake-o-matic machine. It's running, it's rumbling. It's got like 3 blenders and a light bulb and a microphone taped to it. It's quite an interesting
This would have
device.
been useful in food fight.
I think so.
Since they were figuring cake.
So Billy is setting up some balloons, and he's got headphones in. He's jamming out to some tunes. And Kim and Trini are sitting there at a table, blowing up more balloons. And then Ernie checks on the Cake-O-Matic, and he starts like slapping it, like it's not working right. Uh-oh. Then Billy dances up to the girls as the Cake-O-Matic seems to fill up with some sort of foam. Billy says in geek speak that he really likes this song that Kim recommended him, which Trini translates. Then Ernie opens the Cake-O-Matic and starts reaching into the foam. He yells to
the foam.
He yells to Billy to help, but oh no, he has AirPods in, he can't hear us.
He has what in?
He has AirPods in, he can't hear him.
Completely wrong decade.
I'm making reference to a hip meme. But
I don't know that meme. I'm still on Vines, man.
It's actually like a pretty old meme. It's from like 2 years ago. The meme is just like somebody will be in the street like about to get hit by a car and they have AirPods in. It's like, oh no, he has his AirPods in, he can't hear us. It's like they just like put. I think like the meme. It was just like Squidward, and he had AirPods in. And he was in the street. He's about to get hit by a bus, and they're like, "Oh no, Squidward, look out! Oh no, he has AirPods in. He can't hear us." So Billy has AirPods in. He can't hear Ernie. He can't hear Kim either. Ernie's getting super duper foamed, and the girls are trying to get Billy's attention. Kim does finally get up, walk up to Billy, and take the headphones off of him. And he's like, "Hey, I'm glad you like the music, but like Ernie's having a problem over there." And Ernie literally slips and falls because of all the foam he's covered in. Billy runs to help, and he finally turns the device off. And Billy looks down at Ernie, who is now basically fully consumed in foam. He's like, "There's still some kinks that I gotta work out." And then Ernie just spits some foam out of his mouth and says, "I hate machines." And then even more foam falls on him.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How common is it for Ernie to get sludged?
Pretty common. If it's not Bulk and it's not Mr. Kaplan or Miss Appleby,
or Skull.
If it's Bulk and Skull. If it's not Bulk and Skull and it's not Mr. Kaplan or Miss Appleby, it's Ernie. But so Billy gives a nervous smile to Ernie as the foam begins to blind and fully consume him. Then we cut to Rita's. And Rita's like, "Oh, they're setting up for a birthday party. I'm gonna send a present." How thoughtful of her.
How so very thoughtful.
And Finster's like, "I have just the present in mind for Zack." And it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that Finster's the first one to mention that it's Zack's birthday, right? Like the first time Zack gets brought up is by Finster.
Yeah. No offense, but like kind of fuck you, Finster, for this.
Yeah, so he's gonna make a monster which will wipe Zack out for good. Which Finster, honestly, kind of a bad present.
It's not necessarily that. It's the fucking bullshit that he ends up doing later. That and specifically trying to ruin Zack's birthday of all things. Kind of.
But honestly, I feel like by the end of this episode, Rita and Finster, the most thoughtful ones concerning Zack's birthday. But
yeah, definitely. Well, specifically Finster. Specifically, Finster is the most actually thoughtful person in this, I think.
So Finster is is gonna do that. He's gonna make a bad guy, and then Rita's like, "Oh yeah, ha ha ha!" And then we cut back to the juice bar. Now this is where the antics start. Okay, this is where I fall in love with one Kimberly Hart. So Trini's painting her banner. Kim's just sitting there watching her, and she's like, it's all right. And Trini's like, Kimberly, get back to work. So there's some cute teenage antics. Instead of getting back to work, Kim just jumps up to sit on the bar and ask Billy how he's doing with what he's doing. And Billy's just like, I don't know why it's not working. The molecular mix rearranger is still intact. And then Jason comes in and he asks if there's any problems. And Ernie's like, the Cake-O-Matic went on a warpath. I nearly drowned in cake mix.
Billy, I have a question.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
He has to molecularly rearrange the mix.
You want to know what you fucking do?
What do you do?
Flour, eggs, cake, sugar, milk.
But what if you could do that with a machine instead?
You can do that with a machine. How do you think factories work?
Yeah, but you know what I mean. This machine is obviously designed to very quickly produce a cake in much lower time than an oven would.
Factories.
Shut the fuck up. So Kim just
I'm
giggles.
sorry, but Billy, all you've done is make a shittier version of a factory.
Kim giggles about the cake mix thing because she's just a giggly, goofy cutie today, and I'm into it.
I'm not.
Jason thanks Ernie for keeping the place open late so they can decorate for Zack's birthday party. Ernie's just like, boy, is he gonna be surprised? And he's like, speaking of surprises, I heard something about the Power Rangers. And then Billy denies that he knows who the Power Rangers are at all because he's just a great liar, just a master of deception.
Yeah, he is, surprisingly.
Which Ernie seems to buy this and tries to clarify who he's talking about by being like, yeah, the ones with the dinosaur robots, remember? And then Jason's like, oh, the ones with the colored costumes? And Ernie's like, yeah, those are the ones! And Ernie says, I was not expecting this reference in this 1993 episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Ernie says that the Power Rangers are going to do for Angel Grove what Batman has done for Gotham City.
See, I did a fucking double take when he said that. Okay? Because, at least for this episode in particular, I'm pretty sure Power Rangers was intended to eventually get bought by DC. And it never happened because
I don't know about that. I don't know if Ernie mentioning Batman once is enough to come up with a fucking harebrained theory about DC and Power Rangers.
But like my thing is, DC is very strict about what can mention Batman and what not. Just even in name alone.
You're allowed to mention Batman. I think that's just like freedom of speech.
No, like not within like the rights of them. That's why that's why Arrow exists. That's why they
literally could not get the rights to Batman.
They will mention Gotham and they will mention like different things, but it took forever for them to actually be allowed to say Batman.
Speaking of Arrow, that's a tangent I meant to go on a lot earlier. How into those shows are you? Have you seen like all of it? Or
I have seen most of Arrow, all of the Flash, aside from like the last 2 seasons because the season before those pissed me off too much.
Okay, you've seen Crisis on Infinite Earths, yes?
Yes, I've seen all of Supergirl, all of Legends, and
so here's
that woman can suck it.
Here's what happened. So I've always been a fan of specifically the Flash and Arrow. I tried Supergirl. It wasn't for me. The other ones.
Go watch Legends. I give no fucks.
I feel like I will like Legends for sure.
Legends.
I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But I've watched the Arrow and the Flash for a while. And this crossroads I came to was when I was watching Arrow specifically. And I got to Crisis on Infinite Earths. And I just stopped. Because the idea of a fucking 4-hour crossover movie was so intimidating for me that I just like procrastinated on it forever. And then I got like back into the Flash because I hadn't seen the last couple seasons of that. And then I got to the point of the Flash when Crisis on Infinite Earths was, and I procrastinated even more for even longer. This went on for literal years. And then just 2 days ago, I finally did it. I finally watched Crisis on Infinite Earths, and now I've finished Arrow, and I'm working on watching more of The Flash. And Crisis on Infinite Earths, I'm still a little wet. I'm still a little, the tears are still there a little bit. I'm hurt.
I'm hurt for a different reason that I think you're hurt.
I'm hurt because of your boy Ollie. I don't know why you're hurt.
I'm hurt because of Jay. Or like OG Barry.
Oh, well, yeah, that was pretty fucked up too.
That was like, my thing was because as a Flash fan, as soon as I found out that there was another show from the 90s that starred the man who is genuinely my favorite character in like the early Flash seasons, bro, I wanted to go watch it. So I did. I found a bootleg copy of it.
Was it good?
In my opinion, yes.
Even though I've never seen that show before, I've heard of it, but I have not seen it. It definitely like hit me somewhere when, as he was like having his final moment, they like showed a clip from the old show where he is talking to his girlfriend, I guess later wife, as we find out. And the last thing he sees in his mind, in his memories, is just her smiling at him as he fucking fades away.
And it made me cry. Even more so than Oliver's death, and I know that sounds bad.
Man, I was trying to avoid saying Oliver's death. That's why I just said Oliver. I did not clarify. I guess
it's like
do I have
4
to put a
years
spoiler
old.
warning in the description for this? Like,
it's like 4 years old at this point. If you were gonna watch it, you should have watched it by now.
Well, I watched it for the first time fucking yesterday. So
the fuck, Riely?
I don't know. But yeah, I finally watched it.
That's on you. How did you not know that he died?
I knew he died.
Okay. Did you know that
spoiled for me?
Well, since you're putting spoilers for this spoilers for
I don't know if I'm gonna remember. Listen, man.
In the description. So, did you know that he was gonna become the Spectre?
I did. I got that spoiled. I didn't quite know what that meant. I just knew that Oliver Queen died and then became something called the Spectre. And I did not know what that meant.
I want to get into a slight tangent about the Spectre specifically and how happy that made me. Like, I don't like that it was Oliver Queen, but I love that they gave us the fucking Spectre because holy fuck.
Well, I think like within their universe it makes a lot of sense for
it makes total sense for in the CW verse. But like in general, just the Oliver Queen being the Spectre, no. In the CW,
I mean, Oliver Queen is a very different character in other forms of DC, right? Like I remember him being a lot more like quippy and jokey, and like
he is much more
and
like
shit.
A Hawkeye mixed with Iron Man.
He's more like a goofy character who is real good with bows and arrows, whereas Oliver Queen is Bruce Wayne because they couldn't get the rights to Batman.
Because they couldn't get the rights to Batman, and they wanted to make a Batman show.
So they gave us basically all the character traits of Bruce Wayne, but Oliver Queen, and I think it worked out for the better. I love Arrow.
They also created the entirety of the Bat family. I'm not sure if you knew about that.
What are you talking about?
Red Arrow is Robin. Thea is Batgirl. Mr. Terrific is Tim Drake. What's his fucking name is Jason Todd. The dude with the goddamn hockey mask.
You're just saying this character is this other character. What the fuck are you talking about?
Do you not know what the Bat family is?
I know who the Bat family is. I know that Team Arrow is not the Bat family.
Okay, real quick, I'm going to explain the guy whose name I can't remember because he is literally the most one-to-one motherfucking representation of Jason Todd without being a child who was killed by the fucking
Are you talking about Renee?
Huh?
Are you talking about Renee?
No, it's a dude.
Yeah, Renee, the dude.
What? That's his name?
Yeah. Wild Dog, you mean?
Yeah, that.
Wild Dog. That's Renee.
That is the most one-to-one representation of Jason fucking Todd that I have ever seen without it being Jason fucking Todd. As a person who genuinely loves reading Red Hood it is Red Hood comics. Bro, I'm mad. Specifically at the existence of this character. Mr. Terrific was turned into Tim Drake because smart motherfucker who is usually just left behind gets told that he has to go out every now and then and ends up using tech to win his fucking fights. That's Tim.
I think you're looking into this too deeply.
It is genuinely just Batman.
Personally, I think what's so weird about the Flash and Arrow is just like the revolving door of like who the main cast is, where like the team changes so dynamically as just like the events go on, as people die or people retire or what have you.
It doesn't bother me in Arrow, but it bothers me a fuck ton in the Flash.
I know Cisco leaves soon in the Flash, and I am not ready for it.
I'm
not ready for it.
See, here's the thing: no one was.
I heard that Cisco was leaving the Flash, and I was like, okay, well, I'm never watching that show again. Which I was lying to myself. But
see, that's the season that I was talking about that ruined the Flash for me.
I mean, I
just stopped.
I like Chester. So, I'm willing to give Chester a shot. He's not Cisco, but, like, I'm sure as long as Caitlin and Joe are still around and Barry is still around, I can still enjoy the show. Yeah, I know Caitlin leaves eventually, too, right?
It wasn't Caitlin I was talking about.
Does Joe die and I don't know about it?
Wait, hold up. No, Barry fixed that. Never mind.
No more details. Shut up.
No more details. Barry fixed it.
Good. I'm glad. Hey, quick question about Crisis on Infinite Earths, right? Big plot hole. Maybe you can justify this as somebody who's seen the shows. I don't know. So you know how when Oliver brings back the universe, makes a new universe, he brings back all his friends that died?
Yeah.
Was there anything stopping him from bringing back Barry's friends that died too, or
he didn't know them?
He knew them enough.
He did not know Firestorm aside from.
They did. They fought a guy together once.
Not the original Firestorm.
Yeah, they did. Barry, the original Firestorm, and Oliver fight the Reverse Flash in season 1.
Oh wait, yeah. Flash. Forgot about that. Shit.
So could have brought him back. He knew Barry's father.
He should have brought Stein back. Like he 100% should have brought.
He should have brought Stein back for sure.
Hell, he should have brought back the entirety of the original Legends cast.
Yeah, exactly. Why leave fucking Snart dead?
Except for Snart.
Why?
Legends plot reasons.
Okay, fair. But
if I'm remembering right, in Crisis on Infinite, that was Crisis on Earth X. Never mind. He could have brought Snart back.
Yeah, he could have brought Snart back. And
I don't know why I confused Earth X with Infinite Earths.
Weird thing. Also, I forgot. It's over. I forgot the weird thing. Also. Oh, I remember the weird thing. Also, so. There was that whole bit about, like, the other Legends not wanting to be part of crossovers anymore, which I guess was kind of a funny bit. But the confusing part about it was, if you're gonna have Mick in it, why not it be the Mick that is in the show normally? Because what I figured, the Mick that's in most of Crisis on Infinite Earths is a alternate universe Mick. Which is weird, because I saw that and I immediately assumed, like, okay, there's something about Legends I don't know. Mick probably dies. But then Earth 1 Mick is at the end of Crisis of Infinite Earth. He's in the last part only. The other one was alternate universe. But he's in the last part, so he's still alive. So I don't know why they didn't just have it be him the whole time. Which you probably just thought it was.
Rewatch Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Literally there's a plot line where they're like, we gotta use the Wave Rider. And Sarah's like, no, I told my crew they didn't have to do any crossovers anymore. We're not getting the Wave Rider. And they're like, your Wave Rider isn't the only Wave Rider. There's alternate universes. And Sarah's like, oh shit, you're right. And they go to an alternate universe where the Wave Rider is just like Mick is living inside of it because he's homeless, and they pull this random alternate universe Mick with them, and then he starts caring for Superman's baby by reading it a romance novel.
Mick is such a good character by the end of Legends, and then they
from what I've seen of him in crossovers, I already love Mick. So,
like, you're gonna hate him for like the first 3 seasons.
I don't think I am.
But then you're just gonna love him so much.
The fact that he's just like reading this like erotic romance novel to this baby, and Ray Palmer's like, isn't that a little like not kid friendly? He's like, it's perfectly kid friendly. Look, the kid loves it. And then Ray just like shrugs. He's like, I can't argue with that, I guess.
Ray Palmer cannot argue with
Mick Rory.
Yeah, Rory. I don't know why I almost called him Roy. Like,
why did they start calling him? I seem to remember in like every crossover I've seen so far, except for Infinite Earths, that he was called Mick by everybody. I don't know why everybody's called him Rory all of a sudden.
I don't fucking know. It was weird.
But anyway, so let's get back to Power Rangers.
I forgot
we need to get off this Arrowverse tangent now. So we just got past it was the Batman reference is what we were at. That's what led us into the Arrowverse rabbit hole. So
Mick is good.
Jason's like, I think I've seen them on TV. What have you heard about them? And then Ernie's like, I heard
5 minutes into the episode.
Ernie's like, I've heard that they're regular humans, just like you and me, the Power Rangers. And then Jason, horrified,
does the best misdirect ever.
Shut the fuck up. Jason, horrified that the identities of the Power Rangers will be narrowed down to 5 of 7 billion, finds it necessary to say that he's heard that the Power Rangers are space aliens. And Ernie's like, whoa, what? And Jason's like, we better keep it a secret. We don't want to freak people out. and then Ernie just says, aliens. Whoa, this is big, as he steps away. And this exchange made me belly laugh the most I ever have watching Power Rangers, I think.
This is the absolute best misdirect that has ever
the funniest.
happened.
The misdirect is stupid and totally unnecessary, but just the whole exchange was just so entertaining. And the one question we have to address is Ernie really this stupid? Or is he doing a bit and he totally knows they're the Power Rangers?
Given the fact that he was confused in space, I think he knew that Jason and co were the Power Rangers. But
I remember when Ernie wasn't in space. That totally happened. I
remember him being there and looking up at them.
Nope. Nope. What? Ernie is not in the snow past Power Rangers Zeo.
Fuck. I remember him making a cameo. What the fuck?
Nope, not real.
I must have had a fever dream or something. Goddamn.
So Billy and Jason.
Well, never mind. But yeah, he almost definitely knows. That was what I was getting at.
So Billy and Jason snicker to each other about the sick lies they just told. Kim giggles about it. I just love Kim today. She's great. So Bulk and Skull enter the juice bar. Bulk is dragging Skull forcefully. He immediately antagonizes the Rangers, calls them the Nerd Patrol of Angel Grove High.
They are.
And then Billy politely informs them that the establishment is currently closed. And then Bulk's like, it's only closed to nerds like you, and picks him up violently. And then Skull grabs Trini's banner and shows it to Bulk, and they're like, oh, look, it's a birthday party. And then Trini tries to snatch it back, but Skull won't let her. And then Kim says, with just a perfect sneer, we would have invited you, but animals are not allowed. And I just love her today. So Skull, or it was Bulk. I was using text-to-speech, and I thought I fixed all of the errors, but somehow Bulk is how-to. I can assume by context clues that it's Bulk. Bulk blows his nose in the banner, and he's like, "Party's over, kids." And Trini's like, "Hey, I worked hard on that." But it was only all right, according to Kimberly. So maybe it was better we lost that one. Kimberly's opinion, I think, is the most valuable thing one could ask for. But Skull definitely does not show any sexual interest in Trini Kwan. You cannot prove that this happens. Don't go watch the tape. Just believe what I'm saying right now, or it's not true.
That's exactly what Jason Darby was fucking talking about.
There's no listen.
Shut up, Riely, you're wrong.
So there's this fake scene that people claim
this scene is real.
There's this fake scene that people claim is in this episode of Power Rangers where Skull walks up to Trini. He's like, "I'll help you make a new one after we, have a little fun."
This is what Jason Darby was referencing.
Yeah,
I told you it was real.
I remember that one time I sexually harassed Trini at episode 10 of Power Rangers. We're totally getting married.
I told you. I told you.
But anyway, so Trini pushes Skull down. Kim giggles about that because she's just great today. Bulk steps up and mocks her giggle because he's an asshole. He pops the balloon that's in Kimberly's hand, and Kimberly gasps. She's like, "Ah!" Then Bulk just makes an angry face, and then he turns around, and Jason's behind him, and he says, "Someone ought to let the air out of you." And then Bulk goes to attack Jason. Jason dodges, and Jason was in front of a pole, so Bulk crashes into said pole. He wobbles around for a second, and then he falls down into a box of balloons. He pops a bunch of them from falling, and Kim's like, "No, my balloons!" How dare you upset Kimberly today, Bulk? How dare you upset my queen? I'll fucking kill you, Farkas Bulkmeyer. I will make you suffer. I swear to God. How dare you do this to her? She is an innocent girl. She does not deserve this.
Wait,
anyway.
Who are you saying is an innocent person?
Kimberly.
No.
I just love her today. She's just so good.
I don't.
You're wrong. I can't believe you don't love her today. What do you mean?
Later in this episode.
Hey.
I'm holding her to that.
4 out of 5 of the Power Rangers have a lot of actions that are poor and bad later in the episode. But to be fair, Kim is the first. To be fair, Kim is the first one to bring into question whether it's a good idea.
I'm not saying that, but out of the other 4, she is the best of the 4. But I don't like her today still.
Fair. I understand. I understand where you're coming from. We'll get there. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it because I have some words.
So Skull gets up. He tries to attack Trini, but she also dodges in front of a pole and makes Skull crash into a pole. And then, God damn it! I literally swear I fixed all these fucking typos. I can't even understand this next note. Skull. Okay, I think I know. Skull. I understand it now. So Skull goes to attack Billy. Billy opens the Kick-O-Matic, and Skull crashes into the foam. Kim's like, "I hate party crashers," and Trini giggles as Skull wipes some foam off his face. And that's where that scene ends. Then we cut to Rita.
Pause for a second. I gotta go grab something.
Okay,
I'm back.
Okay.
I'm recording in a different room than I normally am.
I see. So
it took less time to grab what I needed.
Why do you sound worse now?
Because I was standing up.
Okay.
I was way taller than my couches.
I see. So we cut to Rita's. She's calling out to Finster about his monster. She's like, "I want you to pick a particularly nasty one this time. We gotta pick a bad one." And then Lunk's like, "Which one will you pick? A fruit fly with attitude?" Which she does not pick a fruit fly with attitude.
I wish she had of. That would have been a great fucking monster for this week.
Rita tells him to shut up. And she's like, "I need a special one this time." And she's flipping through the book.
That's what you told me to do.
What?
That's what you told me to do.
Yeah, exactly. So Rita asks for ideas, and Lunk's like, "Oh, Finster's been working on a really good one." And Finster's like, "Yep, Nasty Night, page 12. And then Rita looks at it. She's like, oh yeah, I remember when we used him on Tarback 3 and he fought and killed Goshi from Jew Ranger. We do see a flashback of Nasty Knight apparently fighting the strongest warrior on planet Tarback 3. And said strongest warrior is definitely just Goshi from Jew Ranger.
I have no clue who that is.
The Black Ranger from Jew Ranger.
I don't know the Jew Rangers, man.
So Nasty Knight killed Goshi for Jew Ranger, so he's particularly nasty. She wants that one. So Finster's already working on it, and Rita's like, we'll get to it. Then we cut to the juice bar. Billy's getting all up close and personal with Trini, complimenting her art skills in geek speak. And
Trini,
Jason...
Billy, we know you're fucking thirsty. You don't need to do that every goddamn episode.
And Jason first turns to Kim for a translation, and Kim's like, hey, I don't speak Billy. So then they turn to Trini, and she translates like usual, and thanks him for the compliment. And then Kim's like, okay, the balloons are blown up, banners are made, what else do we got to do? And Jason's like, I think we're about done. And then Billy's like, okay, all we have to do now is make sure Zack doesn't find out about the party early. This is where the episode starts to take a drastic emotional turn from how fun and goofy it's been so far. So Ernie runs in and warns them that Zack is coming. Then there's a super speed montage where they put away and clean up all the supplies and shit. And my notes just scrolled up like 3 pages for no fucking reason. There we go. So they clean up all the shit in the super speed montage, hide all the stuff. They hide themselves. Then Zack walks in. He's humming a song. He's having a good time. He walks in. He sees Ernie eating popcorn, and no one else is there. Zack's like, "Hey, Ernie, why so late?" And then Ernie's like, "I'm just catching up on some work, and I'm here all alone. Nobody else is here with me. It's just me, all alone." And Zack, I think, immediately is tuned into the lies and kind of chuckles a little bit. And he's like, Trini's mom said that the gang might be here, so I headed down to see if they were. Then Ernie's like, I definitely for sure have not seen them at all. And Ernie's like, it's just me and the stack of papers and the bowl of popcorn. He starts pointing out every object in the room and how they're not other people, and he's the only people there. And Zack's like, I get the picture. And then Ernie does a skull for a minute and says, yeah, you get the picture. And then Zack's just like, okay, tell the gang I'm looking for them if they come around. And Ernie's like, yes, I will do that.
I completely rolled that, but he did that.
Hey, I don't know what's going on with your mic right now, buddy.
No, I was talking into my hands for a second. I completely forgot that he did that. God fucking damn, Ernie. Why are you turning into skull?
Ernie was real silly this episode.
No, Ernie doing a skull. Dude, that's...
No, but I mean, like, more so than just the one skull line. Like, he's been very goofy this episode in particular. But, so yeah. Zack's like, I wonder where they disappeared to. And Ernie shrugs, because he's like, I have no idea. And then Zack says goodbye to Ernie. He leaves. And then once Zack is gone, Ernie's like, we're clear. And the other 4 Rangers raise up from the other side of the bar. And Kim's like, that was way too close. And then she just, like, casually, without asking permission or saying anything, just starts eating some of Ernie's popcorn because she's just delightful this episode. I just love her so much. Which, alright, I think this is the time to talk about it. This is not how all surprise parties are conducted, right? Like, I think usually how it works is you don't, like, make your friend think you've forgotten their birthday for the entire day. You're like, hey, happy birthday, you want to, like, go to a movie or something? And they're like, sure.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, meet me here at this place before we go. And then that place is the surprise party. I don't think it's usually let's fucking emotionally accuse our friends.
Here's the other way that you do them. You designate one other friend in your friend group, likely the friend whose birthday it is, their closest friend, to keep them fucking busy all day. You don't start doing this shit 10 o'clock at night, the night before. You do this the day fucking of. and you have your like majority friends all setting it up while one guy is keeping the person busy on their birthday, making them think that this is all that is happening. Okay, it's usually just like hanging out and stuff or going places. You do not lie to their fucking face, making you think that you forgot their goddamn birthday, and damn sure not about your fucking poodle.
Oh, you don't just spoil that bit early. You can't just prematurely spoil the poodle bit. Come on.
The poodle bit pisses me off the most. That is why I dislike Kimberly this episode. Is that fucking poodle bit?
I think the poodle bit was funny. Like, it was unfortunate for Zack, but I liked like the punchline. I did chuckle.
It made me mad.
But anyway, we cut to a cave. Lunk, Baboo, and Finster are there. Finster and Baboo are forging a sword like blacksmiths do. And then Lunk's like, we better hurry, or Rita's gonna be mad. And then Baboo's like, why don't you help me instead of babbling? And then Lunk's like, but I like babbling, though. And then he asks what kind of sword it is. And Finster's like, it's a very special sword. It'll cut through any material. And then he finishes it. Rita gets there. And Finster's like, the sword is ready. You can cast your spell. So Rita does a spell. She completes the sword. And she summons your boy Nasty. Our enemy for today. Your boy Nasty is here. So he growls, he swings his sword around to show that he means business, and then we fade out of him. We cut to Angel Grove High, where Kim enters. She goes to her locker. We see Zack enter from a nearby stairwell. And he excitedly greets Kim, and Kim's like, oh, hi, Zack. Just very normal. Very like it's not a special day of any kind. And then Zack's like, hey, do I look any older today? And like a little sly, playful tone. And then Kim's like, what? No, that'd be crazy if you were older today. What do you mean by that, Zack? Crazy head? That would be ridiculous.
Shut up, Kimberly. Just shut the fuck up.
And then Zack's just basically like, come on. And Kim's like, oh my gosh. And Zack's like, you just remembered something, huh? And then Kim's like, I forgot something. I feel really bad about it. And Zack's like, it's okay. People forget things all the time. I understand. I know. And then Kim's like, I know, but this is very important to someone I care about. And she is going to be mad at me. And then Zack immediately, like, he goes to be like, it's okay. And then he registers in his brain that she said she. And he's like, what? Huh? And then Kim's like, yeah, it's my poodle's birthday.
Fuck you, Kimberly. God fucking damn it. You do not do this to one of your closer fucking friends. Damn sure not on their fucking birthday.
Yeah, it's Kimberly's poodle's birthday. The poodle's gonna be upset that Kim didn't get her anything. And then she has the gall. She has the absolute gall to then ask Zack, what did you think I was talking about? And then,
Kimberly, with that one fucking bit that you just did, you made me want to throw a chair at your fucking face.
Listen, it was a bad bit. It was a poor decision. I understand, but Kim was just too priceless for 99% of this episode for me to hold this against her. But anyway, so Zack shakes his head sadly, and he's like, forget it. And he walks away. He's big sad. Kim then rubs salt in the wound by stopping him to thank him for reminding her about the poodle.
Can I throw a chair at Kimberly yet?
No, not yet. Well, I mean, not ever is what I meant by that.
No, you said not yet. That means I get another episode to throw a chair at her.
Yeah, you can go travel to Florida and throw a chair at Kimberly after the Zio episode with the Dear John letter.
That I will most definitely be fucking doing. Like,
yeah,
because that is the only other. No, there are officially 3 episodes that piss me off with Kimberly in particular.
So he sadly says no problem.
I love the fact that I'm counting the number of episodes that Kimberly pisses me off. Because you've got the first episode, this episode, and then the Dear John letter.
So Zack sadly says no problem, and he continues to walk away. And I think maybe the saddest part, the other 3 Rangers like walk in and just say hello to him, and he just says, "Yeah, right." continues walking away as if it would be farcical to assume that his other friends remember his birthday. Just like, yeah, right, I'm not even giving this the time of day. A sad boy Zack,
I
unfortunate.
agree with Zack. He is in the right for not giving them the time of fucking day, because given the chance, I guarantee you, everyone else except for maybe... No. Billy and Trini wouldn't do this, and I guarantee you Jason would play it like he was doing that, but then go back and say that he was just fucking with him if Zack thought that.
But Jason's like, what's wrong with Zack? And then Kim's like, he thinks that we forgot his birthday. And Trini's like,
because you fucking bitch, you did that.
And then Trini's like, he'll be okay. And then Kim has the reasonable thought that maybe this surprise party isn't a great idea. But then Billy's like, hey, his disappointment right now will just be joy later.
That's not how it works.
And then Jason's like, oh, Zack's gonna be so surprised, we're gonna have to pull him off the ceiling. And they all chuckle and smile, and it's like, he'll be okay until then. Listen, I get what they think they're doing. I understand their intentions, and that their intentions were positive. They approached it in a very dumb way.
Kimberly's intentions were not positive. She could go and suck it.
No, she's a bad liar, and the bad lie that she told ended up making things worse. But I think they all had their hearts in the right place. They just went about it in a stupid way. This is just dumb teenage actions, and I feel like they probably should have gotten reprimanded for it a little bit more at the end. Which maybe they do, because I think I missed the last minute of this episode, because there is a point in the notes where I was trying to get them done in time, and then I was trying to get them done in time to record yesterday, and then an act of God occurred, and there was a thunderstorm that turned my power off twice, and we couldn't do it last night, which is why this episode is going to go up Sunday morning at 11 a.m. instead of midnight on Sunday like it usually does, because I almost died of Taco Bell on Wednesday.
We are now recording on Sunday, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's true. It is past our usual release date by now, by about 17 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, heart's in the right place. Not conducted very well. I did miss the last minute of this episode. There is a point where my notes just say, if anything else happens in this episode, Crow is going to have to tell you about it because my power went out. So get ready to recap the last fucking 30 seconds of this episode. However, Bulk gets gooped by a cake or something is what I'm going to guess happens. We'll see if that comes to pass.
No, I actually really like the ending of this episode.
Okay.
I do not like the majority of this episode, but I really like the ending of this episode.
We'll talk. Yeah,
I will talk about this during the finale.
So
of the episode.
They all chuckle and smile. They're like, it's gonna be okay. And then the bell rings. They all head to their respective destinations. Then we cut to Zack just walking alone in a mountainous area. And he's talking to himself about how upset he is that his friends forgot his birthday. He's like, they're just too busy thinking about their own lives, and that's messed up. And the fact that they are making him feel this way is actually messed up. He sits and sulks for a moment before Rita and Goldar appear. Rita wishes him a happy birthday, which is the nicest thing anybody has done for him today.
Yeah, okay. Can we talk about how Rita is by far the nicest character so far in this episode?
Rita is nicer than the 4 out of 5 Power Rangers.
Yeah, and Zack doesn't count for this episode, so because it's his birthday, and he doesn't count towards anything wrong.
True. So this is, yeah.
Now, granted, Zack doesn't do enough to do anything wrong in this episode, for what I've seen. If I remember the episode right. Granted, I did watch this 4 days ago.
But yeah, she wishes them a happy birthday. She even says she's gonna throw him a party, which is obviously a veiled threat. But at least she's still acknowledging Zack on his special day. She's even taping it for him, which we see which we cut for a second to Lunk with a camera, which is kind of funny. But what happens with this camera later makes me think it's much more important in the Sentai. And in Power Rangers, it was just really weird and confusing. And then they introduce him to his present, ya boy Nasty, who dives to attack Zack with... he just growls and he slashes and shit. And Zack quickly morphs. He equips the power axe and tries to counter your boy Nasty's sword, but he's handily knocked away and hurt. They get into a clash. Zack does hold his own to some extent, but your boy Nasty obviously has the upper hand. He knocks Zack away. He shoots some sword lasers at him. He sparks and falls down. Lunk and Babu say something stupid, and Zack is like, I didn't want to spend my birthday like this. There's more sword lasers. Zack's able to avoid damage from those, but then he's attacked by Goldar, who just exclaims, "My turn!" and then attacks him. Goldar knocks Zack down a mountain. Rita comments about how beautiful that was. Then some exploding lights come out of Lunk's camera for no reason. He's just holding his camera and he's just like, "Oh no!" and then colored lights come out of it and it explodes. What happened to Lunk's video camera?
Do you want to know what I think happened?
What happened?
I think Lunk overcharged that motherfucker.
Oh yeah, the battery is too charged. I get it.
So it fucking exploded. Now, as for the like exploding lights, camera flashes.
Yeah, sure.
Supercharged camera flashes.
I'll buy it.
I love how I'm trying to scientifically explain this motherfucker like it wasn't just magic.
What is the shot? Why did they leave this in? This is obviously like a Sentai bit. Like those are like the souls of dinosaurs or some shit in Ranger, I'm sure.
Souls of children.
Or the souls of children, yeah. And it's just here. They're just like, wouldn't it be funny if we have Lunk with a video camera and then it explodes for no reason? Which, yeah, it was kind of funny. I think you're cutting out, my friend.
You want to know what would have been a really fucked up thing to do for this episode?
What?
Have this be an episode where a legitimate child gets kidnapped on Zack's birthday as a means to try and kill Zack.
I mean, I watched the Ranger episode this is based on fairly recently. There is a child who helps forge that sword. Like, obviously they cut around him creatively because they're not gonna have this Japanese child from the Sentai footage in the show. But the plot of the Ranger episode is that there's a special spell about this sword where a kid has to help forge it. A child with a pure heart has to help forge the sword before like it can be
Wasn't
turned into a super evil sword.
Wasn't that the plot about the box and the chicken?
Yeah, in Power Rangers, but in Ranger, it was a sword.
Yeah, the sword is just Chica.
Oh my god. I fucking hate you. So we got to the command center.
I will work it in every chance I have to reference that motherfucking chicken.
We cut to the command center. The alarm is going off, and Zordon senses a disturbance in the morphing grid. He instructs Alpha to activate the viewing globe and see what it is.
I have a question.
Do we really? Because I don't have a real answer for you. So the question is pointless.
No. Was the morphing grid originally just meant to be the fucking force?
Yeah. And to an extent, I think it kind of still is. Like, I don't know.
No, it most definitely is not still that anymore because fucking Simon Bennett. But okay,
it's more like the Speed Force now.
It's more like a what?
It's more like the Speed Force now.
Yeah, it's more like the Speed Force now. Simon Bennett legitimately just stole the fucking Speed Force from the CW show. Shit.
Listen, there are several reasons.
Fuck you, Simon Bennett.
I mean, listen,
you don't have the same beef that I have with him, and I know you don't.
The thing about Simon is, like, I don't know yet. Like, I can't give a real opinion on Simon because Dino Fury is average. It's not bad, but it's not good either. I haven't seen Beast Morphers, and I've seen Once and Always and really liked it, and he was behind that. So, I don't know.
He backed the fuck off because you know who returned.
Well, Who returned?
If I remember right, Jackie Marchand returned.
Jackie Marchand was a story consultant. She did not write. She consulted on the writing.
Either way, that's more fucking important than Simon was in that movie.
Well, I mean, Simon was the showrunner. He made it happen.
He might have made it fucking happen, but I'm not giving that to him until he gives me something just as good.
That's fair. So
I'm not giving him credit for that until he gives me something just as good, if not better.
So they look at the viewing club. They see Zack fighting your boy Nasty. And Zordon's like, I'll call the Rangers, prepare to teleport them to Zack. And then Alpha grumbles, that Rita Repulsa really fries my circuit boards as he goes on the computer. Zordon calls Jason, tells him what's going on, so him and the others morph into action. Zack is down when the other Rangers arrive. They show up with their power weapons equipped to help him. They ask him if he's okay, they help him up. And then Jason tells your boy Nasty to back off, and the fight starts anew. So, Nasty is doing real good. He seems to have upper hand on all five. Jason gets knocked down. Zack helps him up. Jason is fine. Sure, he's okay.
He's 05, man.
I was gonna say fine. I was gonna say okay. They both came out at the same time.
He's 05.
Jason is fine, but the power sword is like melty or rusty or something. It's fucked up. And this happened to all the other weapons as well, which I did write down besides Zack, but I think the shot just didn't show that Zack's was also affected well enough. I believe it was all of them. Nasty shoots his sword lasers at them, knocks them all back. Some dire straits for the Power Rangers. Rita is amused by how good Nasty's doing and decides she's gonna make that monster grow. So the Rangers call the Zords. Hey, Twee Trang, buddy, pal, your voiceover in this scene could use some work. could use some tweaking, I think, because for some reason in this scene, instead of doing the Zords how they usually do it, where Jason's just like, we need dinosaur power, and then we spend 5 minutes watching them rise from like volcanoes and shit.
Oh wait, hold on. Okay, I know what you're about to bring up.
So let me bring it up then. Don't interrupt me.
I was trying to put another point in there that I didn't think you were gonna make. They fucked it up.
Let me make my first point first, and then you can make your secondary point. So instead, they each summon their Zord individually. They're like, Tyrannosaurus power, Mastodon power, and like when they get to Trini, her voiceover just like compared to the other four is just like so bad. There's like no energy behind it. She's just like Saber-tooth tiger power.
Can we talk about how Kimberly didn't fucking get one?
Did she not?
No, she didn't.
You definitely weren't paying attention. There's no way.
No, she did not.
I don't believe you.
She did not. Hold on.
Ain't no way.
I am
Ain't no way they just forgot her ass.
They just forgot Kimberly.
Which is a crime in this episode in particular.
Huh?
I said that's a crime in this episode in particular. I know you don't agree.
I'm not mad because of how bitchy she was to Zack earlier.
Listen, man, she had one bad moment concerning a poodle. Don't bully Kimberly, okay? You have to
bully Kimberly as many times.
You have to admit, you have to understand just how amazing she is throughout the entire rest of the episode. She's just perfect. Oh my god. I don't want to watch
I'm proving this point. They skipped her.
Alright, we're proving it, folks. Here we go.
Because I watched this scene like 3 times.
Yeah, see the voiceover.
Yeah, I see what you were saying. Shush.
Oh, I guess you're right. What the hell?
They just skip her ass.
Wow. Well, there you go, folks. I guess I was wrong.
If I wasn't already mad at Kimberly, I would be very much with you on this, but I'm kind of still mad at Kimberly at this point.
Listen, she's so perfect for the rest of the episode. I have to give her a pass on the poodle thing. She's just such a
You
perfect.
can give her a pass for the poodle thing. I'm not giving her a pass for
She's
the
just
poodle
like
thing.
such a perfect like goofy teen girl the entire rest of the episode, where she's just like a vibe the entire time. She's like only half doing what she's supposed to do. She's like fucking sassing Trini, sassing Vulcan Skull, fucking sitting on the bar, which you're definitely not supposed to do, but she does it anyway because
Unless your name is Kimberly Ann Hart, you were not allowed to do this.
Yes, exactly. And she like especially the part. Listen, you have to admit the part is so priceless. When after Zack leaves, when they hide from him, when they rise back up from hiding, and Kim just starts eating Ernie's popcorn.
I didn't see that. Right. Okay, I might give her a slight pass, but
She's just such a perfect, like, goofy teen this whole time, except for well, I would even argue that the poodle thing is a pretty goofy teen thing, because where do you come up with that shit? Just like, yeah, it's my poodle's birthday. Is that a worse, listen, is that a worse excuse than what Chase gives to Kaylee? I don't know if you remember that from Dino Charge. But
I haven't seen that charge in a while.
The episode where Kaylee finds out that Chase is the Black Ranger, earlier
The
in that
Black
episode,
Ranger?
Shut up! Fuck you!
Sorry, I find these hilarious. I have to.
Parnet's ass motherfucker. I get it now. I get it. I get the meme where everybody is getting mad at this joke that everybody's been doing for years, including me. Where if you make a typo or a mistake, they will just like point it out endlessly. Like the fucking I saw. The meme I saw that really opened my eyes was somebody did an edit of "This is where I saw my parents die" Raphael bit from the Batman Ninja Turtles comic. That meme was around for a while. And they took that and they put all the Ninja Turtles in it. And Batman says, "This is where I watched my Parnets die," and then corrects it to parents. And then all the Ninja Turtles just say, "Parnets, Parnets, Parnets, Parnets."
I've seen that. That is exactly why I fucking do that.
But yeah, we gotta go. We gotta do this.
We're almost done. We're almost done.
Hey, I think I skipped a bunch of notes, by the way.
No, it kind of abruptly changes to the Megazord fight.
No. Before the Zords, though, after the weapons get messed up, they do Blade Blaster Tower formation, which gets deflected back at them, which is important that I forgot to mention. And that's when Rita makes them grow. So yeah, Zords, Megazord time, no tank mode, just man mode. Then Nasty just starts fucking going off on the Megazord, just like heavily striking that man. And then Jason calls the Mega Power Sword, so the exchange becomes a little more even for a minute. Unfortunately, Nasty ruins the Mega Power Sword, just like all the other weapons. And then there's just text that says Ho 97 in my notes between this note and the next. I don't know where that came from. I don't know what that means. But Ho 97, important part of this episode.
Yeah, Ho 97 shows up and starts kicking the Megazord's ass.
My good friend Ho 97
shows up and starts kicking the Megazord's ass.
Ho 97, the most threatening.
Ho 97, yeah.
Anyway, so Ho 97 does not show up. Unfortunately, he would be too powerful. He would kill the Rangers immediately.
He would kill the Rangers instantly.
So Nasty lands a big hit. He knocks the Megazord down. He stomps on it. Then Rita says, "Great footwork, good pun, good job." Then commands him to finish them off. Zack's like, "Hey, he's reflecting all our energy back at us, and that's how he trashed our weapons." And then Jason's like, "How can we beat that?" And then Zack's like, "We'll reflect his energy back at him, along with some of our own." And then Zack presses a button, and that zaps Nasty's sword, and that stuns him, which allows the Megazord to gain ground, finish him off with the power sword. You know, how it always goes. And then Rita yells about it, and then she leaves and yells about it at her palace also. And that's that. Then we cut to the Rangers. They're leading Zack into a dark juice bar. Zack wonders why they came here, and also wonders why it's so dark. Wonders where Ernie is. He's a very confused boy. Then the lights come on, and surprise! It's a party! And From here, Crow royalty takes over. It's the act of God.
We get a holy hell of like, if I remember right, this was like a 3-minute fucking scene of them.
I
just
seem to recall there only being one more minute in the episode where I fell off.
There was like a whole fucking bit of them cutting around showing different people dancing, and the way that they shot it very much made it look like Zack and Jason were a gay fucking couple. Like, oh
no.
Why do I remember that part so well?
Listen, if I had to make a gay couple out of the original 5, I'm sorry, David Yost, but I'm thinking in fictional character territory, and Billy is a very straight guy. But Jason and Zack, I think I could see it.
I could see it, like, especially from that, because the way that it was shot at first, like, they completely say, no, this is not how we were intending to do this by the end of the fucking bit, because they show Jason and Zack on 2 completely different sides of the fucking dance floor in like the very final shot. But the way that they do it is they go Zack doing hip hop, Jason kind of like mirroring it in a way, but they're just cutting back and forth for a second, and then we get just this random shot of Kimberly. We get a little shot of Trini. Billy's working the Cake-O-Matic.
Uh-oh.
I want to do my Cake-O-Matic bit now, goddammit.
Do your Cake-O-Matic bit.
That motherfucker would have been so useful in food fight specifically. Bro, why does Billy have it here and not in food fight when they were legitimately
Why would this be
needing
useful
food?
in food fight? What purpose would it have served?
Making food for the food fight.
I guess.
And also giving Bulk and Skull more things to slip into.
I thought you meant like important to like the plan to defeat Pudgy Pig. I was like, where does Cake-O-Matic come into that?
That would have also worked. Okay, load all of the shit into the Cake-O-Matic, all of the spicy shit into the Cake-O-Matic, and make it into a giant spicy cake.
Just make a big spicy cake. You know what? I'm sold.
That motherfucker would have been so useful in food fight. Not to mention, the principal could have been fingering someone else's cake instead of Kimberly's. Could have been fingering Billy's.
Oh no! All right, is there anything else about this episode, or did we pop out of here?
Do the bits.
Well, I guess Billy's working on the Cake-O-Matic, so who gets scooped?
What?
Who gets scooped?
Who gets scooped? Bulk and Skull do again.
Yeah, of course they do.
But it's with an actual cake, but it's with like the actual cake.
So can I explain the rest of this episode having not seen it?
Yeah, sure.
So Bulk and Skull enter. They start talking shit. And then there's a cake, and then the cake flies on Bulk.
No, that was not me laughing. That was me like actively coughing.
Well, I was laughing.
Oh, God. It was a funny bit. Just not intentionally laughing. Ugh. I think I'm getting sick.
Me too, bro.
You were sick Wednesday.
True.
Anyway, final thoughts on the episode?
Hey, Pro Royalty, so we have a strong disagreement on our hands.
No, we don't.
No. Here's the thing, right? I agree with all of your points. I think the rest of the episode makes up for it. I think this episode once again, for most of it, made them feel like real teens in a way that doesn't usually. Like it does not surprise me that the same person who did Different Drum did this episode.
Hey, Riely.
Yeah.
I think you missed the fact that this was kind of probably my new favorite episode.
Shit, really? I mean, I don't agree necessarily. I think Different Drum is better. But I think it goes right below Different Drum.
Okay. It is very much like fighting Different Drum for that placement. Okay? But it's like, is it better or is it slightly worse?
I think
as
the
much
fact
as
that
I
they
dislike
emotionally
Kimberly in this
scar
episode.
Zack Taylor.
Huh?
I think the fact that they emotionally scar Zack Taylor means that it's slightly worse.
Yeah, and that's kind of like I'm agreeing with you for the most part.
Anyway,
I
let's
do think Different Drum should stay number one.
We're going out of order. Favorite character.
Zack Taylor. Fuck
Listen,
you.
listen.
Fuck you. I know what
Hey,
you're about to
everybody.
say. You're wrong.
Hey, everybody.
Second person. Well, actually, you know what? It is happy birthday, Zach, so I'm going to give it to Zach. Honorable mention, Rita fucking Pulsa.
I mean, fair. But hey, guys, listen. Zach would be the obvious choice. Zach would be, if I just say Zach, I'm just like any old sap out there. I'm just paying attention.
It's his birthday,
Reading
man.
plot. I'm not enjoying any of the other nuances on the side. If I just give it to Zach, that's a basic.
I did not enjoy Kimberly. Kimberly made me mad, and it
was
just
Kimberly
stuck
Hart.
with me.
Because she was just perfect the whole time, except for that one real bad thing about a poodle. But other than that, she was perfect. She was just like a vibe the entire time as they were setting up for the party. She was just being all cute and being silly, and it was. I love her. I'm in love with Amy Jo Johnson from the year 1993, and she's just really good this episode. She had a lot of charisma going this particular episode.
See, you say that, I feel like Rita had more charisma than Kimberly in this episode, but that's just me.
I mean, Rita always has plenty of charisma. Like,
Oh, definitely, but she like made her charisma work for her in this episode specifically. Like, as malicious as she was trying to be, she was the nicest motherfucker in the goddamn episode.
Yep.
And it shows. I know I'm basic for choosing Zack, but literally Rita is competing for it. But I'm going to stick with Zack as my best or favorite character for the fact that it is his birthday.
So I'm going with Kim personally. And I think
favorite scene.
I think my favorite scene.
If you say the fucking poodle bit, God fucking damn you.
Oh, no, it's not the poodle bit for sure.
Okay.
It might be one of the Kimberly gags, but it's not the poodle bit.
Okay, good. Making sure. Do not pick the fucking poodle bit. The poodle bit, or I will come down there to Florida and kick your fucking ass.
I think it's just, I really liked the interaction. This is what began the whole, like, Kimberly is amazing today thing. I just really liked the cute little interaction at the beginning of that scene where Trini's painting her banner, and instead of doing whatever she's supposed to do, Kim is just sitting next to her and, like, looking at her do it, and she's just like, it's all right. And then Trini's like, Kim, get back to work. It's great. I like that part a lot. What about you?
The Zack fight.
That's fair. Zack
strictly
because
of the Rita Repulsa bits.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, Rita being such a nice person in this episode makes me love this episode so much more. And
oh, sorry, go ahead.
And then you have Zack putting on what may be one of my favorite fights.
Fair.
And then you have the Lunk bits, and just such a good string of, like, this is how you do a fight. This is how you do a birthday episode, in my opinion. There are other episodes that don't do birthday episodes as well, in my opinion.
Hey, you want to know the best birthday episode in Power Rangers history?
I assume it's one with Tommy.
No, it's one with Sid and Jack.
Yep, fucking. That was the other guess that I had. It's like, it's either with Tommy or it's with Sid and Jack. Because it's that episode where Sid
gives Jack her birthday. It's so sweet. It's so nice.
What?
Sid gives Jack her birthday at the end. Jack is jealous because he doesn't have a birthday, and Sid's like, "You can have my birthday now. It'll be both of our birthdays."
I thought this was the episode where Sid sits on Jack's lap.
No, the episode where Sid sits on Jack's lap that's just like a random, like, throwaway visual from, like, an episode where something else is going on. But there is a Jack and Sid spotlight episode where it is Sid's birthday, and Jack makes her go on a stakeout with him instead of going to her birthday dinner. And Sid is mad about that, justifiably. And then at the end of the episode, when it's moral time, he's like, "I'm sorry. I guess I thought you were just, like, selfish for being into your birthday, but really I was just jealous because I didn't have a birthday." And Sid's like, "You can have my birthday now." And it's really sweet.
Yeah, that's fair.
But anyway, we'll get there in 4 years. So rank it. We already kind of discussed it. Is it really better than Food Fight?
Yes, very much so. Fuck you. It is.
Yeah, you're probably right. Coming in at number 2, happy birthday, Zack.
It's arguably number 1, but I will concede to at least 2.
I think Different Drum is definitely better because it has all the good teenage antics without emotionally scarring Zack Taylor. So, it's my preference.
Okay. See, here's the thing. I think that the emotionally scarring of Zack Taylor worked in this episode really well.
I mean, you're not wrong about that.
Me though.
I think Different Drum was just like the vibes were better, slightly.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, coming in at number 2, happy birthday, Zack, and that's it. We did it, folks. I didn't think I was gonna make it through the episode tonight. To be honest, I started it out of determination because I'm like, every time I feel like this, I just blow it off. I can't let myself do it. But I kind of had any doubts that I was gonna get any further than 30 minutes before being like, Crow, I don't want to do this. Because I do have a history of doing that where I will start a podcast in delusions of grandeur, and then about 20 minutes in, I'll just be like, hey, let's not do this actually. And I thought that's what was gonna happen, but I made it.
I would have dragged you out through the entirety of the episode if I had to, and just had you send me your fucking notes, and I'd have read the rest of them.
Oh no.
Like, you would have been here, but you'd have been doing my job, and I'd have been doing yours.
I would have fell asleep. I guarantee it.
I'd have ass up with random screaming.
Well, usually when I fall asleep, eventually my headset falls off because my head will like slump. But anyway, that's about it for this episode of Megazord Radio. Crow Royalty, where can our listeners find you?
Find me on Twitter at Crow Royalty. My brain.
Find me on Twitter at Riely Tweets, and that has Linktree in the pinned tweet, and that has all the stuff. So go there, check it out. Issue Crew Podcast, fucking YouTube channels, fucking all sorts of fun stuff. It's pretty dope. Check it out.
My brain completely lagged when I tried to say Twitter a minute ago. My brain tried to tell me to say Titter.
Titter.
So that's why I enunciated the twit in it. Anyway. Twitter.
But anyway, so that's it. Thank you all for listening. Let's see if we can pull off 3 seconds this time. Until next time, we're morphin' out of here. It's morphin' time. Why'd you say it so with no energy at all?
I was like so scared.
All right, one more time. Come on. We gotta deliver it better. You know, I'll just cut all this shit out and I'll count it out loud, and I'll also cut counting it out loud out. Let me put a note on Craig where I'm like, morphin' time, cut magic, please, so I remember.
I'm sorry, I got so scared that I miscounted and lagged.
Okay, but here we go. Okay, I'm just gonna cut all that shit out, and I'm gonna get a fresh outro here. All right, until next time, we're morphin' out of here. 3, 2, 1. It's morphin' time. Why did you still have no energy?
My brain lagged again. I don't know why.
God damn it! I counted out loud this time. Fuck it. I'm leaving all of this in. That's it. Goodbye.
I'm sorry.